This is Zurich Airport calling for Racing Unleashed Season 2023 Beyond the Pinnacle. Today we race at the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari in Imola. Ladies and gentlemen, start your simulators. Get ready for racing.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it is green and go. It's a good start from Rock already. They make contact. Absolutely flying. He's a man on mission at the moment. Right into the gravel. What's happened up front? Oh, it's chaos. Can't overtake, he said. Augustin Torlacci, a very happy man at the simulator as well.
This is Racing Unleashed.
Don't know if you could hear us to start with, so we'll go again. Very good morning to you. Welcome to Race Unleashed. It's the Racer League live here in our virtual studio. It's Challenge 4 at Imola. These Racer League driving, as we saw yesterday, a fantastic fling race with thrills and spills and down the grid. No more so than the championship rival at the front. Will we expect more of the same today? That is the biggest question. I'm your host, Matthew Duffin, and once again, we'll be bringing all the action of the Race League live here, this fantastic circuit at Imola, as it says behind me. Well, what a race and what action we had yesterday. Fantastic crowds in all of our racing lounges, party atmospheres throughout, and it's going to be no different today for the drivers. They've got such a unique opportunity and the chance to drive around the Imola circuit in none other than this beast here. The RU23 is the car that they've got to take on the Imola track, and this is what they'll be trying to control on this circuit. Tight, twisty, fast and flowing as well in certain parts of the circuit, and this RU23 car is the challenge that these drivers have to face today. And we know we've seen a few moments of individual mistakes yesterday. Drivers have some today. It is a bit of a wild animal out here on this Imola circuit. So what will the Racer League drivers be faced with in this one then? It's full 20-car grid. We don't have any drivers missing today. And we also don't have any knockout bans for drivers today. So it's a fantastic chance here. Full 20-car knockout qualifying as well as a race coming up a little later on. And can anybody stop Alejandro Sanchez? He is a man who hasn't been off the podium all this season. He's been really consistent and is really starting to flourish. In terms of the challenges for these drivers, they see the 5 cars that we have at our disposal across the 5 racing lounges. There is no Carmen, no light blue of Zurich Airport, but the green striped car there with the red and blue livery of Zurich Camptal will be on display today, as will the one in the middle, the Madrid car, the yellow stripes, wing mirrors and helmet to identify Madrid, and then you also have the pink one there of Munich to identify which drivers are from where. So pink is Munich, yellow is Madrid, and the green is Camptal, just so that you at home can keep up to date with which driver is which. And the prize then that the drivers are in before today is this one right here, the Racer League, 3,500 Swiss francs that the drivers take home today if they get a race win, all the way down to 200 for a top 10. Very important that a top 10 finish. It's just points, but it's prize as well. And in the season, Alejandro Sanchez at the minute is one step closer to 15,000 Swiss francs there, and that goes all the way down to 750 for a top 10. So a lot to play for. It's not just the prize of a trophy and to be champion, but there's prize money up in store as well. So a lot of opportunity for these drivers to really try and focus on getting some money in their back pocket. And this as well, as we heard from Francisco yesterday, it's 2.5 for a yearly subscription, 2,500 Swiss francs for a yearly subscription. Well, that would mean a lot to the drivers as we go through the world, and more importantly, go through Europe into our race lounges as we head through round planet Earth and into Madrid we go first, where their racing lounge had a fantastic atmosphere yesterday, and it will be no different today, I'm sure. And Madrid Racing Lounge get ready to go racing once again, and it's Alejandro Sanchez, their man at Madrid, that is the championship leader. And there they all are in their knockout, in their gear up session, getting ready to go in this gear up practice session. They're all getting ready and last-minute preparations for all the drivers to make sure they fully understand the circuit and fully know what is coming the way. Last chance to prepare for them, because now qualifying coming up a little later on is no time to be practicing. It's a one time where you have to focus and get into that seat. So all this time now is for the drivers to concentrate and make sure they get them last stakes out their system. And again, we head though now from sunny Spain all the way to Germany as we head to our Munich Racing Lounge. And we saw confetti being thrown around in Munich yesterday by Sebastian Hirsch to Nico Holland. I wonder if there's more in store today as we zoom in our Munich lounge at the Motor World in Munich. And a fantastic chance to see their lounge today. Yeah, you see again, more preparation for drivers, especially the likes of Sebastian Hirsch and Andreas Michael Schmiedel as well. One man who's to try and score some points to defend his championship from last year. We saw how dominant he was last season. He's got to again this time around though. And then we go from Germany across to Switzerland then as we head to our Kemptal Racing Lounge, where the drivers there, a lot of them starting at the front of in the knockout qualifying session. So we just go back to Munich for a couple of moments, and there you see our colleagues there making sure everything's ready. And now we can switch over to Switzerland at Kemptal. And it's for these drivers, 5 which starting at the front today. Only Christoph Holstein and Loris Mistretta starting further down the order in the knock qualifying session, who will be ready to go. And the Formula BMW that we had James and Sid talking about yesterday, chance that Sid had to test around the circuit. And obviously drivers in their simulators, in their cockpits, ready to go and ready to test as they go at the moment then. So all 3 lounges ready to go, no harm today, as well as Zurich airports. 3 lounges, Kemptal, Munich and Madrid, all ready to go in this Racer League today. And it's going to be a fantastic opportunity for certain drivers who have missed a few races. Dominic Dedic is back. He's been away for a bit of a while. He's missed 2 races. So he's got a chance to score some good points, maybe get himself on that leaderboard as well. A chance for people like Sinan Demirbaş to change their fortunes around maybe. He's been involved in a few incidents over the last couple of races, and he's been caught up in a little incidents where he now needs to hopefully get some good races under his belt. What though can Ciro Zambra do? He's obviously been in the Formula BMW car. He's obviously experienced racing in the real world, and now he brings his knowledge from that back to the sim world. And can he take podiums or race wins today? This is the biggest question, which will all be answered a little later on. Let's, though, look back at yesterday, where we saw some party atmosphere in the racing lounges. This is Nico Holland with obviously confetti being thrown by Tyler Klaus, Sebastian Hirsch. Confetti being thrown all around, and it was fantastic to see Madrid. You heard noise from Madrid today. It was a fantastic atmosphere there in Spain. They took the race winning Challenger League. And then Kemptal, we look at the party atmosphere. And our owner, Francisco Hernandez, and James was there as well. And we'd have James with now. Good morning, James.
To see you, how's things?
Yeah, good yourself?
It's good to be this side of it. Yesterday, we were really fortunate to be live in the lounge with the racers, feeling the heat.
Yeah.
And now today, alongside yourself, first of all, I must say, it's an honor.
Thanks very much.
And I'm really looking forward to this. Yesterday, we were focusing on the Challenger League. Obviously, a great bunch of talent in there, which are aiming to work their way up.
Yeah.
And today, we're Racer League. And this, for me, I've been following this journey for a while. The talent in this series is exceptional. So to see the race is going to be awesome.
It really is. And the atmosphere at Kemptal yesterday, it looked fantastic.
It was amazing. It was, yeah. I mean, one thing that was special about it was the location of it. So the Kemptal Lounge, it's just outside of Zurich. It is in this stored old building, but there's car dealerships around. Francisco bought in his Pagani Huayra. I mean, as a backdrop, that alone was fantastic. But then the atmosphere when it gets closer to the race, it's just the same as when you get into the real cars and you put that visor and everything changes. Yeah. As soon as these drivers lower themselves down into those seats, the whole mood changes. I'm getting sweaty palms to speak about it. It was great. And to see that energy, confetti, as you mentioned, it was a great day. It was a great day.
Let's take a look, though, at the result, though, the classification of yesterday's result. We know that Marcus Valverde won the race from Yannick Pletcher and Nico Farland as a confirmed top 3. And our race result then looks as follows then. It was Marcus Valverde, Pletcher, or Nico Farland top 3. Augustin Talachi finished before, with Borges Arzo gaining 5th place after a penalty for Adrian Gomez. Thomas Herzog kept hold of 7th place, with Mario Stanek in 8th. Gianluca Pisano, penalties to his name, dropped him to 9th. And then rounding out the top 10 was Walter Troninger. The bottom half of the field then yesterday. James, if you just want to come my way a little bit. Roberto Miguez then was P11. Penalties dropped him down the standings with Tyler Klausch also receiving a few penalties to 12. Rock Mertzel, Mohamed Ramsey, Andreas Koch, Robin Doney and Fabio Schlegel as well. Penalties to name, really mixing up this grid. Dennis Echenberger was P18 with Michael Waversick and then Matthias Overkirk. Standings though after yesterday's confirmed results looks a little light, and it is the Swiss driver of Yannick Fletcher from Kemptal who still the way and extends his gap a little bit for Nico Forland. Augustin Torlacci really bringing himself into the party here. He's only 6 points off the back of Nico Forland, tied with his Spanish fellow driver Marcus Valverde. Adrian Gomez 5th place. Borges Zarzo a couple of points behind him in 6th with Rock Merck 7th. Chua Hayder didn't see him yesterday in 8th. Enzo Hayder 9th, and Antonio Rivoli rounds out the top 10. Bottom half of the table then, Gianluca Palmano P11 with Walter Troninger in 12th place. 6 points for Mohamed Ramsey so far, has him tied with Thomas Herzog, who finally gets his team on the leaderboard with a few points next to it. Joe Stanek P15 with 4 points. Besnik Mertezi in 16th with 2. Tyler 2 points as well as is Fabio Schlegel. Robin Doney on 1, and then Andreas Koch rounding out top 20 on 0 points at the moment. And it was a fantastic race yesterday. You was there, Yannick Fletcher, who took a good 2nd place.
Yeah, it was all seeing Yannick, but I was actually really happy for Thomas. I mean, to see him on pole, you could see it, his whole demeanor. He was so excited to be there. Sadly, as you mentioned, it ended up in the race in 7th place. He was in good spirits. He picked up some points, so he was in a great place. Again, the talent is phenomenal. So we are now excited, really, to see how this next stage unfolds. But once again, the difference of being in the lounge physically, there is this tangible energy. It's very cool.
Indeed, you can. And you have to say, Thomas Herzog today, the emotion when he got the whole position, he didn't know whether he was happy or shocked, but he was so emotional about it.
That's right, yeah. I mean, it's a chat that we had with him that he said that he's been trying to achieve moving himself up the grid for so long. He never expected to be pole. He was happy to be in top 3. And even though during the race he ended up dropping down to 7th, you could still see he was really happy. Yeah. He was proud of it. And I think, if anything, it's probably given him the confidence that he does have it. He has it there, clearly. I mean, among all of that talent, he put it on poles. He has it. Perhaps a bit of improvement in racecraft, but yeah, great to actually see that journey for him.
And it was great, that journey for him. Obviously, he said to us yesterday that he was on a couple of weeks before, so it's great to be back fighting fit, and it was great to see him on pole position. And obviously, emotion. We've got Zambro, you spoke to yesterday. He's racing today. Yes. The kid's got some talent. Our Challenger League champion last year.
Yes.
He's coming from 15th in the knockout qualifying. He's a quick kick young lad.
Unreal. I mean, I've been fortunate to be in the lounge with him for several races. There hasn't been a time where I've joined him in the room where he hasn't improved. The rate of development of that guy is wild. As you mentioned, he is our pre-season champion in the Challenger. That won him a seat in real Formula BMW car, which, from an experience point of view, we had a chat with him yesterday. I was fascinated to ask him how the seat time translates from sim experience to real world. It was very interesting just how similar it was for him from sort of brake points, turn-in points. He said steering feel was actually remarkably similar, but his neck and fitness, obviously, they spawn. So he's moving up here. No doubt he'll move up there too.
And it was. And these are some of the clips that Ciro had when he was in his Formula BMW tray that he had. And it was fantastic to see him in the car. He looks cool as ever, doesn't he? Look, I'd be over the moon and excited to jump in joy, but he looks as cool as he can be.
Yeah, one thing that is actually really fascinating about this series is, while it is intense racing, in the sim lounges, our drivers aren't wearing helmets. Yeah. What's fascinating about that is you can see the expressions on their faces. Yes. You'll notice the really fast guys almost expressionless. Yeah. It's very calm, very smooth. You would think fighting 10/10ths for this small patch of tarmac, and you think they'd be all screwed up. Cool as a cucumber. Yeah. And he translated that experience from sim lounge into real world. Cool kid.
And it kept him calm. It kept him. I was told yesterday by Fabio that I believe won the event, that he was there by 2/10. So congratulations to Ciro. Yeah, you see the cool characters we've seen Fletcher yesterday. Every time we went on board with Yannick Fletcher, just no expression. Fully focused on what he had in front of him, fully determined on what he had to do, and all smiles afterwards.
Yes, that's it. They sort of transform. I mean, again, I was speaking to Yannick the second before he stepped in that car. If you go from real world talking to him to camera on his face, as soon as he steps in, different kid. Yeah. Like, mindset changes there immediately. I think the most telling thing is the eyes.
Yeah.
You know, on board, you know, eyebrows and facial expressions neutral. The eyes are absolutely laser, and you can almost see how far these guys are planning. It's almost like sort of racing chess. You know, these guys are all over it. So lots of tactics. Great seeing young talent coming through.
It is great to see some young talent coming through. Let's take a look at the penalty roster, though, for the race league. Then no qualifying or no knockout bans, no race bans either for drivers this week. The penalty roster looks a little like this. Angelo Michele is the man with 10 penalty points. That's the most in the racer league at the moment. Michael Schmiedel then on 7. Enrique Maradon, Ivan Kaufman, Loris Stretta, David Ladamada all on 5. So very few penalty points at the moment for the racer league drivers. A chance, don't forget, for them to lose penalty points with a clean knockout and a clean race. They can wipe some for their name, but also the opportunity of gaining some more, which is what they are trying to avoid. And we spoke with Fabio yesterday in the Rush Hour programme. It does set the penalty point system in the racer league especially is starting to work. We're starting to see a lot cleaner driving and a lot more better driving in terms of actual racing and no contact. As here is the current Racer League standings then. It's Alejandro Sanchez who leads the way. Wojciech Polezny, this was the results last time around. Wojciech Polezny second place, Florian Harser in third. Loris Bistretta was fourth with Christoph Holstein fifth. Mott Gasner P6, Mark Schmiedel seventh, Enrique Maradon P8. Sinan de Merbas in ninth with David Eade rounding out the top 10. Cero Zambra outside points in 11th. Javier Law was P12. Angelo Michele 13th. Ivan Kaufman in 14th place. Alvaro Aznar P15. Sebastian Hurst 16th, Kevin Aby in 17th place, Devin Iskro, David Ladamada, and I missed the last name at the very end. Went too quickly.
Have we got time to touch on Michael Schmiedel?
Yes.
I find it fascinating. Last year, number one.
Yeah.
He was
dominant.
Yeah. Dominant. Do you think this is a change in mindset? This is a less seat time? Or has got new talent coming through that's starting to push these boundaries?
I think there's a mixture here, and you touched on it. The new talent is the biggest thing. I think Alejandro Sanchez has really stepped up his game this year. But me and Fabio have touched on this in Rush Hour over previous events. The car is different.
Okay.
And I think this is the biggest. I don't think he's fully confident in the car at the moment.
Right.
I think what we have with our RU23 car it does suit his driving style. And I think that this is something he's trying to adapt to. Because like you say, last season, Michael Schmiedel was
untouchable.
Won a lot of races, was very quick, very calm. This year, you're seeing him a lot more. He seems to be a bit more frustrated, but I don't think in himself, I think more in the car. So I think it's a mixture of Alejandro Sanchez really raising his game, the new talent of Ciro Zambra and David Seed coming through, as well as the fact that the car doesn't suit him.
Interesting.
Indeed. We'll have to see what he can do. Michael Schmiedel will be coming 17th at the moment. He is 4th in the current standings in the Racer League. So it's not all doom and gloom for Schmiedel, but he hasn't yet been on the podium. So that shows the change in fortune from last season. Here are the championship standings. Alejandro Sanchez leads. They've got 20 points over Christoph Holstein, who is 5 points clear of David C. There's Michael Schmiedel in 4th place, ahead of Enrique Maradon and Ciro Zambra. Unchanged. Up a couple of places was Wojciech Polezny. Sebastian Hurst dropped down to 8th with Mark Gasner staying 9th. And Loris Bistretta moved into the top 10. Second half of the stands then. While we wait for that, Alejandro has a 20-point lead.
I mean, it's looking pretty strong for him.
And that's just after 3 races.
I know, which is a disproportionate gap.
That is
Let's
massive
face it.
at the moment. And as we come to, obviously, next time will be the halfway point of the season. He's got an absolute chance to pull away even more. Angelo Michele ups out the top 10 with Florian Harser moving into 12th place. Alvaro Aznar, Sinan de Merbas, Javier Loro, Dominic Dedic, Ivan Kaufman, Kevin Aby and David Ladamada all dropped down. Devin Eade still bottom of the standings, and the bottom 4 there yet to score a point this season. So a chance maybe for them today to get their names with a couple of points next to them. But it's just so interesting to see how tight second down to about 5th or 6th is. But the leader is just gone.
I mean, when you watch these guys, they're going around like a shoulder fish, aren't they? You know, it is so tight. There are literal tents between them. One of the things which is now starting to unfold, even though it's quite early on, is different drivers forte different styles of circuits. Now, Imola, iconic circuit, but it's quite long too. What are we, 22 corners, I think?
Yes.
So just under 5K in length.
4.9 kilometres.
No, 4.9. So a lot of folk there, a lot more to learn than perhaps some of the shorter tracks, and that seems to be lending itself well to, frankly, people who are just very good at remembering circuits.
The other thing as well is we went from Mugello 2 weeks ago, which is the corners are faster, a bit more sort of medium corner speed, fast corner speed.
Yep.
This one a bit of everything. You've got the corners, the medium speed corner. You've also got slower corners like this. Let's just talk you through the knock qualifying procedure. As we know, if you are new to Racing Unleashed or unsure what the knock qualifying is, we have one warm lap, which is a formation lap behind safety car. No overtake is allowed. We then do 2 guarded laps. A guarded lap, full racing speed. It's a full race. We start it. If you want to overtake, you can. You don't want to be, though, in that bottom 2 coming of lap 4. But at the end of lap 4, we lose 2 drivers every lap until we get our positor. So we've seen yesterday a frantic knockout qualifying session. Drivers was in that elimination zone. You know, a few little spins, bit of contact here and there, meant to try to get their way up the grid. And this is something we want to avoid. But drivers in that moment are, I don't want to be eliminated.
And it's a pressurizing design of format, because the more they get knocked out, the more bottleneck it feels.
Yeah.
The last 2, you feel it for them, to be fair. It's like there's this sort of digital monster chasing after. And like, you know, those last few seconds, it's like, this last it. There's something about it. Stick around for that, because as the last, I quite like it between last 4 and the last. It's a real heated, and these guys are on the ragged edge, just trying to spin.
They really are, and it's not like race. You'll see the race probably a bit more relaxed because they've got 23 laps to focus. If you're in the 2, you've got 4 laps to try and get out of it. So it's a little bit more hectic. There is Kemptol, there is Stoff Holstein, who was yesterday for our programme, and I wonder if Fabio gave him any tips, or he knows we're not to overtake, and that's the final 2 corners at the moment as he's getting ready for his knockout session. The drivers are back in the simulator, I believe stay in the simulator between gear up and knockout, and there's the man Ciro Zambra just making sure he's got his pads going in to make sure he's fully comfortable, because one these drivers don't want is to be uncomfortable in the cockpit, because you're there for a very long time. And comfort is the main thing. If you're comfortable, you don't feel right, you possibly don't deliver what you should be able to.
Yeah, I mean, you would be different for thinking if you haven't been in one of these sets that it's a fairly easy ride. I'm genuinely not exaggerating. When I step out of these, I've got sweaty palms. You'll notice a lot of our pros here are wearing gloves and driving shoes. And that's not just for, you know, add levels of immersion. You get sweaty palms and you want better dexterity on the pedals. When you get in there, it's a carbon seat, but it's not a big seat fitted to you, so drivers look to adapt their own fitments.
And that's where Ciro's just had the cushion to make sure that he's comfortable, it fits it to his a bit better.
Yeah, that's it. So, and over a longer race, these things up. So the more comfort you can get, the more comfortable you feel it in yourself. Take any distraction, anything other than focusing on that. These small things make a difference to these guys.
They really do. And it is fine-tuned with every driver, whether it is the real world or the sim, the slightest bit of uncomfort, and you could lose a couple of tenths because you're just not being able to do that time. So they're all getting in ready for their knockout session, which is coming up in a moment's time. As we see there, then the penalty points graphics for you. Just to explain the penalty points, you see at the top, we have knockout. If you get a 2-play penalty, it's 5 penalty points to your name. 4 places 10 and 6 places 6 is 15 points. Now remember, if it is an instant on lap 1 of knockout, so the first lap after the safety car, the penalty points are doubled. So that 2-play penalty could become 10. It's the same for the race. 5, 10, 15 second time penalty, whereas in a 5, 10 or 15 penalty point to the name as well as lap 1 of the race, double penalty points. 20 penalty points to your name is a knockout. Then you get refreshed to 0. Another 20 points, meaning 40 in total, is a race weekend. And there, though, is a reward. A clean knockout will lose you 2 penalty points. A clean race will lose you 3 penalty points. So if you 7 penalty points, or penalty points, should I say, in that knockout session, you have to remove 3 of them and drop to 7 after the race. So it isn't all doom and gloom, and a way for the drivers to be rewarded. If you have a bad knockout clean race, okay, you've gained a few penalty points, but now you've lost a few. So chance for them to really sort of win.
That's it. There is an opportunity psychologically too. If something does end up happening, it's not the end of the day. You know, so we've seen some instances where it can affect the mindset of you think, that's it, I'm out of this. Yeah. Particularly in the race league, where it is so close that the difference between a few points, a penalty during a certain session can affect you, right? So to have that opportunity to be able to redeem it can be a game changer for everyone involved.
And we've seen in the Racer League less penalties being given. Last week there was barely any. It was fantastic. Last time out, should I say, was barely any. There was fantastic to see. And really showing these Racer League drivers are starting to get to grips with this system. We don't have damage on here, so that this penalty points is a way to sort of act as their damage, you will. If you bump into another car, you're not going to just damage your front and have to pit and change. You're going to lose them points and be affected with bans. And all right, we saw 2 weeks ago Marcus Verde come from 19th in knockout because he couldn't qualify. Sorry, 19th in the race because he couldn't qualify and finished second. So it's not doom and gloom, but you don't want them put on your name.
Sure. And it's also a way of putting risk and perhaps not going for gaps that aren't there, right? Which is important in these realms because, thankfully, if you have an off here, you're not in a real war. But we do want to encourage is clean, proper sportsmanship, right? And these sort of boundaries, which will enforce and could end up ruining the race, are there to encourage that and hopefully have a better race. A better
race, as well as the chance for the drivers to learn. If we look at Zambra, he wouldn't be making moves lunging up the inside on it's not there in a real Formula BMW, would he? So he's got this chance to not only do in the sim world, then that can develop into the real world if given these opportunities.
Sure. How they'd react if we said we're going to start knocking off some funds, as if you put a broken splitter, 100 francs off.
That's a couple of hundred. Got to pay that one. There, though, is Madrid. A thumbs up from Alvaro Aznar in our simulator then. And that green simulator, it's won the last 2 Challenger League races. So Alvaro Aznar sat in the lucky sim in Madrid at the moment. I don't know how well he's going to do today. We've got Alejandro Sanchez in the red simulator just next to him. And then 2 other drivers in the background. There is Munich as our colleagues all sat there, family and friends as well, look like they're to watch and cheer on their respective drivers. And all the drivers, I think, Munich are all sat down at the far end of the screen because there's all empty seats at the top. But it all looks nice and calm at the moment. And then there is our live camera in Kempton. And this is the mindset of the driver. Look, he's zoned out.
This is exactly what we were speaking about earlier. Outside of the car, smiles and laughs and games. As soon as they get in, and actually the physical act of putting on that headset is very similar to putting on a helmet. All of a sudden that's your immersion zone, They just zone in. I've walked past cars and I thought someone's been asleep in the past, but they're going through the lap. In their minds,
We've seen over this season, we've seen different people in the simulator take different approaches, whether they eyes shut, head back like you're asleep. I think Ciro Zambra the other week was turning his steering wheel as if he was memorising the circuit. So it's interesting, it's fascinating as well to see the different drivers, how they prepare.
That's right. The fascinating thing is that we don't see on screen is how much time these guys are putting in outside of these. So you can have a subscription, an annual, and then that allows you to come and go from these racing lounges as often as you can. Not underestimate the amount of time that these guys are putting into this. So it's not only that they are here wanting to win, they've put in an investment, they've put in time, they are probably sacrificing other things in their normal lives to go and do this. So, it might look like some guys enjoying times in some sims, but this is real stuff. And as we've seen with Zero, this can translate to real world as well.
And when you look at the live like Sebastian Vettel, back in his Formula 1 days, you've got Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen at the moment. They'll be working at their factories in their simulators, preparing for the next Grand Prix.
That's right.
This is what these guys do. They turn up daily, and they are putting the seat time in. For the Challenge League drivers, they're trying to do it to qualify. For the Racer League drivers, they're thinking, right, what pace have I got? What qualifying pace? What race pace can I have? Let's put a half-an-hour session together to work on a racecraft. And it really is. And you've been in the simulators. I've been in the simulators. They really do take it out on you.
They really do. Yeah, it's the force feedback on them as well is no joke. I mean, if you do have an off, you want to do the, arms crossed. One thing as well, which is hard to convey on screen, is how hot it is. How hot it is in there. We're in summer in Europe right now. There is a fan on the cockpit as well. There's a fan on the hot cockpit, which is a little bit asthmatic, isn't it? Right. And one of the things which is hard to convey, we're in Europe. These are spread across Europe right now, which I think is one of the things I'd love to stress, that you're seeing everyone here on the same screen. We're on physical different locations around Europe. Munich, Madrid, Zurich, etc. But across Europe right now, it's hot. There's not the particular air conditioning in the cars. And after a few laps, not only is it taxing mentally, but the physics, there is a retention device in the seatbelts to sort of simulate the decelerative fall of braking. And after, and they're no joke, right? These things slam on you really hard.
You brake hard into a sharp, like the cane here at Imola. You brake hard to that, and that really does.
Absolutely. I mean, I stepped out of these sims, and I'm well aware on my chest that I've been on some laps.
I feel like I'm at the gym. They are fantastic simulators, obviously made by Maranello as well, and they're brilliant pieces of equipment that we are seeing as well. There is a second place man yesterday, Yannick Plech, former Racing Leash driver there in the middle as well, Tizio Caponio. And a look at the calendar then, we are at race in the light blue of Imola. We have a month's break, 3 races in 6 weeks we've had. We now get 4 weeks off on the Zurich airport, halfway of the season, 29th of July. Monza race 6 on the 1st and 2nd of September. Before the end of September, seasons go Barcelona Laguna. 29th and 30th spot is at the end of October with Laguna Seca, a new track this year. Race 9. Race 10 is also the battle for glory, in which we do not know the location of the track yet, and it will be fascinating to see on where these drives go. Mercedes GT to get us away in this knockout qualifying session. It is a warm-up to proceedings. Everybody has to follow the AMG GT3 safety here, and when you do so, after the first lap, it is all for racing. Are you a fan of this qualifying form, James?
I'm a fan of anything that brings everyone closer. Yeah, it can mix things up. It just gives everyone time to, settle in, as it were. But this is a relatively long race. I always think how a race starts rarely has impact on how it ends. It makes the beginning of it interesting, but as we've seen yesterday, our pole sitter finished 7th, right? So, and it was interesting seeing the guys, once they'd gone past what I guess ultimately with a slightly slow cars, they were putting gaps of not tenths but seconds. Yeah. So as soon as any of these guys who are front runners gets an opportunity for some clean air, that's when things totally change. It
indeed. Now, just looking at the list I have in front of me for this qualifying session, I believe we are missing one driver, and that driver, I believe, is Kevin Eastgro. Is not his name on them standings, so Kevin Eastgro that we're currently missing for the grid. So the order will look like in this knockout session. David Ladamore will lead the grid away from Kevin B. Then Ivan Kuno will be P4 with Doc Dedic in 5th place, or 4th, sorry. Javier Oro will line up P5, Sinan Demirbas in 6th, Alvaro Asnor in 7th, Florian Horst in P8, Angelo Mikkel P9, Laura Stretta P10, Mark Gasner excuse me, 11th with Sebastian Hur 12th. Wojciech Lesny will be going from 13th with Sirozan 14th place. 16th be Enrique Manon, 7th Michael Schmid, the defending champion. Dave Seed is going from 17th. Christoph Holst 19th, and Alejandro Sanchez will be going from 19th. So on the first elimination lap, we will lose the one driver as we lose 2 bikes. So after lap 4, we'll lose the bottom driver. So not to be that last race. Looks like we're under here in this knock qualifying session. As it is, the safety car pulls in, everybody gets away. You see a few gaps already from Nick Dedic towards the top 3 out front, and the top 4 cars are all based in our Kemptor Lounge, and it's Dedic who comes through Tambello down towards Villeneuve. Already a bit of a gap between him and Kaufman in front. Not as bunched as yesterday at the start of that qualifying. It's not, no. One thing, obviously, I'm not happy for Schindler that he's down there, but he's a fantastic peddler. I am looking forward to seeing how he makes his way through the pack. Very efficient man in the knockout sessions, and you see him take his time, and he knows when he's on the cusp of elimination, so we'll keep our eyes on him. Here's Kevin Aby, though, on the back of Dave Adamardo as they come down towards double right-hander. A tricky section of the track. You keep the first bit fast, as you see Aby wide, a big shot in the rear from Kaufman as they just put wheels on the grass. Keep it there, Kevin, and he rejoins. That's guaranteed penalty points there, I reckon, for Kevin Aby. Unsafe rejoin made for Kaufman as well, and that there was kind of ended session because he's a long way by now and he's got a lot of ground to make up. That is a game over for him, particularly if he picks up points for penalty points off the back of that unsafe region. This is what I said earlier. It kind of does another qualifying situation. This can happen in race 2, and it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds. It can indeed, and as James said earlier, look at the eyes of Alejandro Sanchez, determined and focused on the task he's got in front of him. He's moved himself up to P16 at the moment. Fiddles up to 14th place. We're back to Dominic Deck now, who's seeing 2nd place. He's got Javier Loro hand on the back of his car. Looks at Villeneuve to maybe get a bit closer, but it's not part of the track to make an overtake there. It's Javier Loro then in our Madrid lounge. He's got Sinan Demirbas right behind him. You just see in that glimpse at the top of the screen, but it's 4 for the lead here, separated 0.8 of a second. And again, we're just seeing now quicker guys start to get on the back of this train, starting to see this congestion that we had today. Yeah, we're also seeing as well the visual representation of racecraft and quality of drivers here. Obviously, no disrespect to the Challenger League, but visibly a little bit more scrappy. These are so much more consistent. Yeah, they're following exactly the same lines. Great to actually see. Sinan Demirbas on leaderboards just got past Javier Loro for P. Here's Alejandro Sanchez. We're currently watching. Has a bit of gap to Smeedle. Just ahead, a lock up of the brake by one of the cars in front. And look at how busy it is at Ravazza down the turn 18 and 19. This one bounces a little thick right at the corner. Not really that the drivers will feel that one. Then down across start line. We lose now driver at the end of this lap. So it's important now for drivers, if you are, I believe, Kevin Aby at the moment, to get out of that place. As Javier Loro lost out to Demirbas, he's now being attacked by Alvaro Asnor at the moment. Both drivers this in Madrid. You just puff of smoke from people lining up into Villeneuve. With Sanchez then, he's down in 15th, more lock-ups from the drivers in front. And he's looking at Smeedle. These two were rivals last year, went at it the whole season. And Sanchez at the moment, the man who is the lead As then P5 trying to get on the back. Loro once again into the double-hander. It is Kevin Aby currently in that 19th place. He is only 1.5 seconds behind Sebastian Hirsch, who had the best of qualifying at the moment. Austin, though, is trying to come onto the of Sanchez. And look at this. The guys just cannot find a way through front.
So this will be really interesting to see how this translates into a race. If Sanchez stays where he is now, he will be out in a few laps. As you mentioned, he's currently our title leader. We're only 3 here, but this is going to change his entire season based off the back of that incident earlier on.
It is indeed. So will he be eliminated in 2 laps? Can he place us up? This is the biggest thing to keep our eyes on. Here is Kevin Aby then, who will be eliminated this lap, and 19th place will be on the grid for him. So he will be able to step out the pit and reflect on that knock session. On board with Seidel on the back. Ciro Zambra, that was a car off there in the gravel. Not quite sure who that was. Dominic Deddy. So he's gone from second place, was in the gravel, and is now way on the pack, 6 seconds off the back of Sebastian Hirsch. That helps with little mix like that. That helps Sanchez and Smeedle get through the pack.
One of the things I'm interested in, and this is character of a driver. Right now, of course, the likes of Sanchez has had it up front with some good drivers, clean air. I'm going to see how the psychology of being at the back of the pack, frustratingly stuck behind other drivers, affects him going forwards.
The thing to note as well, the tier of the car from front will be in this car. And while there's a long, speaking of long trains, look at how wide these guys are.
Big dive.
Smeedle there, sporting the headband then. He's obviously seen Marcus Valverde take a race and wants a piece of the action. With his headband, he's up to next place, so there's a few cars off. He's in 3 places. Florence in 4th, has Javier Loro attacking up the side at Ravat then, and the big contact made, nothing too major, just pushes her a little wide. He also now lost the momentum. They're going to go 3 abreast down the top straight, and Mugello on the left. Javier Loro in the mid, horse around the outside. They bounce off each other like a pinball. How they'll keep together is fantastic, and that's for Angel Mugello, a great move to take 2 places.
Well, that was a massive unexpected shuffle. A minute ago on that previous lap, he thought Sanchez was going to be out. All of a sudden, he's made a massive amount of places, going to benefit massively from driver skill in this part of the grid too. It allows him to jump a few more places.
Indeed, it does. Sebastian Hirsch down in 16th place. Sorry, we lost Itch down in 8th place, and we lost Kun as well in 7th. It's now Sebastian Hirsch in 16th place. They're a man to keep our eyes on, but he now is in that cut being eliminated. He's right on the back of his train. And when you look at the time, there's nobody or a second car in front. He's so close.
Interesting, our chat out Smeedle. He's just overtaken Sanchez. I am really...
bit of contact, sorry, bit of contact there. And that's allowed Smeedle to get up the inside of Gazner. On the exit of the chain, he pulls to the outside now as they come downhill towards Rutzer. And again, that's the patience to Smeedle. Let it car on the inside of the line, and Migretta keeps hold of P7, but now, because of 2 cars together, moves up into P8.
There you go, start right at the back of the grid. All of a sudden, his talent is starting to come through. We've seen off the back of Steer, regardless of being a different car, the guy's got the skill. He's stuck to the learn. I do personally want to see that last battle between Sanchez and Smeedle.
David Seed then out of qualifying, down 16th place for him. So Sebastian Hirsch may have made a few places. Enrique Marinon was the other drop to drop in 15th place. So Austin now down in 4th with Sebastian 13th. Them 2 guys are on the cusp of being eliminated. Sinan Demerbas, Alvaro Aznar out front. Angelo Kell 2.6 seconds behind the front 2. Then a train of cars behind him. And Alejandro Sanchez we're on board with. Seen now in P9 behind Loris Mistret. Second place in the championship, Chris Holstein. He's well in front of Holstein, so in terms of his championship rival, the close one, he's well in front of Sanchez at the moment.
And again, these sorts of things on here might seem like it's nice placement for them. Psychologically, that extra shot of adrenaline from placement, just that 1 step ahead can often give you that advantage to push that last 10 and maintain that place.
Indeed, it can then as they come for Vatsa for 7th time. Demerbas, Asnar, Angelo Mikel, David Ladamorda currently P4th with Florian Horser 5th. Loro Schmid, Stretta Sanchez, Gazda rounds out the top. Here comes Alejandro Sanchez, looks like side by side as we cut away to Christoph Holstein then. He has been eliminated, I believe, from qualifying in P14 for Christoph, so not the session he would have wanted. And we also lose Sebastian Hirsch, and that there, look, is a very, very frustrated young...
He is deeply unhappy about this. Again, a lot of this grid play right now is off back of an unexpected incident early on.
Yeah.
None of these guys expected this. We've got some people who are much further the grid who, as we've just seen on camera, deep frustration because just a few minutes ago they're in the thick of it.
They was in the thick of it. Sanchez has got to PS. Smeedle now up in E7. It's just showing now some of the guys who are leading championship coming towards the because it is getting really big on this circuit. Loris Greta 5.9 in 0 Zambia. You feel for Mistret, unless a mistake from but it's going to be 12 him provisionally. Zambra needs to get past Voigt Pellegrini. They're on the back of this train. There is in the red and blue car with green wingers at the back train. I feel it's too late. There's a push to pass the knockout session. So for Zero, he's going to be going from P11 P11 on the grid. He makes up 4 places in a knockout session, so it's not too bad. Loris Mistretta, though, will be down in P12 visually as well. There is from our crew in Tall. And Alejandro Sanchez, look on the back of Spiedel, who's on back of Ladamada, who's on back of Javier Lara. And Sanchez pulled to make a move into Villeneuve. And Spiedel will make the move on Ladamada. 3 wide through Villeneuve. How have they made that work? Sanchez gets 2 places. Spiedel, I think, gets involved in an incident in the background there. I think there was a mid-car off. There's 3 off. That was fantastic move from Sanchez.
Crikey. I think one of the interesting things about this qualifying format is by the nature of design, the more time goes, the more stress it gets.
Yeah.
Earlier, this digital monster, he's put away at you, and you see it in during style. It's getting tighter, the pressure chasing these guys, and then incidents like this happen, and all of a sudden, complete grid shuffle.
Yeah, it is indeed. And Sanchez there through Villeneuve, not really a part of the track, make an overtake. He got 2 places into 2 corners. It's Asnar de Murbas. That leader's changed as well out front. Angelo Mick on the back of de Murbas, P3 and P at the moment, but for Sanchez, he's gone all of a sudden being 14th for cusp of elimination. He's now sitting 6, nothing comfortable. Gazner 7, Beadle down it, and he's 4.3 the back of Gazner. But we are going to David Ladamada in 10th place, and we are also going to lose Wojciech Polesny, who will be in P9. Not for Polesny there, he's gained 5 places provisionally from the grid ordering out to where he's been eliminated.
Now, on the flip side of the pressure, the further the race goes, the cleaner the track gets.
Yeah.
So there's less hustle and bustle to get caught up in. It gives guys who are the runners a bit more space to breathe. This is when we start to see some wild lap time.
Yeah, this is where you can see, you look at Sanchez, 6 behind Javier Loro, who's then 2.5 behind Haas. So this is where we can see the championship leader now stretch his legs and really show us why he's championship leader in some place. All of a sudden, our attention turns to Spiedel. He has gone from 17th, he's 4 seconds behind, so will he P8? He's not going to catch 4 seconds unless there's a mistake from here as quick as the guys. But from 14th to 8th, he can be pretty happy with that knockout.
Exactly. I mean, we've seen his craft. He's now midway the grid. He's probably going in this thinking, you know, it's where I want to be, but where I was, I don't have a chance. I'm in the game here now.
Yeah, he is. As we've just seen him for 2nd place, Angelo Mikel goes into P2 ahead of Sinan Demir. So there is Spiedel, Nico Holland in the background, or if he's bought himself some confetti to spray over drivers today. But it's Sanchez now, all of a sudden, he's once again on the cusp of elimination in qualifying. He's not just got to get past Loro, he's got to catch on onto the back of Florian Harsner. They've got Gazner, who's eliminated in P7, Spiedel 8th. Sanchez here, really showing why he's the championship leader, making moves. He's putting pressure on drivers in front. He's really got pace. Half second with half up to go. I feel he's going to be eliminated this lap. 2.5 seconds to Haas seems a bit too much if he gets past Rowe, but from 20th to 6th, again, another who can be happy with knockout.
It's incredibly strong. Again, you know, it's not where he wants to be. From an audience point of view, it's a great shake. What I am finding interesting, I mean, Asnar up front right now, these are the cream of the and look what happened. You give these guys some air. You know, he is almost 2 seconds in front now on in race.
Is indeed as Sanchez comes into Ravazza, and I don't think he's close enough to make a move into the corner. He's not. So for Sanchez then, he's going to be peace in this knockout session, and for Javier Loro it will be P5. So the 2 Spanish drivers come across the line, 5th and 6th provisionally in knockout qualifying. Right, tall battle now between Asnar, Angelo Mikel, Sinan Demirbas and Florian Haas. So then, there is our lounge in Madrid, as I believe there is only the one Madrid driver still left in session. That is Alvaro Asnar. Angelo Mikel and Sinan Demirbas in Munich, in Munich, and Florian Haas then as well in Munich. So it's 3 Munich drivers against 1 driver from Madrid, but it's the driver from Madrid who's 0.7 in the clear at the moment. And Haas are here. I wonder if Demirbas has had a problem because that got a little bigger on. It's now 4/10 of a second. These are the 2 drivers that look like they're going to be eliminated this lap, just because 2 seconds to Demirbas with half a lap to go.
It does. One thing I actually quite enjoy about this format is that there is no push to pass, which means it's purely down.
Oh, sorry, a mistake from Haas there.
What was I just talking about? Purely down to drive.
Exactly. 2 on the grass. He brakes, locks. It makes the wheels on the left side of the car slide across grass. It doesn't grip up. And straight up the chicane, but like you say, no push to pass for the drivers. It is their skill. It's
just pure skill. And what we're seeing here with driver error is these are the last 4, and the pressure on. So these guys are committing to braking later, trying their luck. If you're at the back, you're about to get kicked, you try anything.
Yeah, exactly. Alvaro Asnar then 1.6 in the lead of Angelo Mikel. That's the gap there, the yellow car of Asnar, the purple car of Mikel. I'll tell you what, for Asnar and Angelo Mikel, they've gone from 8th and 10th. So to be 1st and 2nd is a good knockout session and a good start of the race to put them in a good position.
Huge. I mean, what I love about this format, this is something you probably couldn't have predicted.
Yeah.
The way the race being so far, top runners are fairly consistent. It's that curveball which has resulted in, now, in my opinion, interesting grid.
It is an interesting grid. We've got some of the top drivers in the championship standings all over the grid.
Yep.
So it's going to make for an interesting, a bit of a bounce off the curve there for Mugello. Just puts a little wider than he'd have wanted. And that really is a pretty tame way to end the knockout session compared to yesterday, because Alvaro Aznar, he got the job done when he took the lead of the race, knockout session should I say, and he's just not looked back. 1.6 seconds in for Alvaro Aznar. He's going to come across the line provisionally in P1, and Angelo Mugello will follow him home in second place. And look at that. There we go.
There he is.
Finally reaction. So we will hopefully speak with Aznar in a few moments' time. As we wait now, race control are going to be busy, making sure everything is the right decision in the grid order we get.
What are you expecting for that early spin? It was the rejoin, right?
It was the rejoin for me is a slam dunk. They'll obviously look at the incident between wide, and they'll look at the incident between the two of them.
Yeah.
The rejoin is a slam dunk penalty. Apart from that, I there was pretty good racing. We didn't get to see why Smeedle was so far off the pack at the end.
No.
We saw 3 cars off.
Yes.
Maybe retro
caught up in this thing.
Yeah, we'll see what happened with that incident. But it's Alvaro Aznar, the driver from Madrid, who takes pole position in the race later on today. But I tell you what, Munich, they're in a good position to their first race winner of the season here, because the 3 drivers, second, third and fourth, they're in a fantastic position. There is race control, and you can see the little 2 screens there at the bottom right and the middle. They are monitoring everything. Our 3 race control stewards, as well as our expert, Cole Venliger there, really going through the analysts, checking every camera view, throttle input, brake input, and are really going to monitor every decision here. Would you on that wall doing these decisions? Do you think you could do it?
I don't know. It's the pressure of it, isn't it? More of a... Because, as we were speaking about earlier, it's not a game.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
These guys are investing time, life, and money.
Yeah.
And I want to be in that seat.
No.
If I'm honest with you.
Fabio say every week, it's the whole job here at Racing Unleashed, being race control. There's Kemp Toll. The driver all out their cockpits, taking plenty of fluid on board. There's Christoph Holstein to the right of screen, and they'll be watching us hopefully on the screen in the racing lounge. Plenty of fluids. This is important on board, James.
Well, I mean, honestly, it sounds daft, but I'm in that lounge yesterday, boiling hot. There is no F, you know. And once you're in that cockpit, it's small. You're surrounded with carbon, and it is intense. I mean, drivers step out, wet backs, sweaty palms.
Yeah.
And honestly, they are treating themselves as athletes.
They have to. There's Madrid then. Everybody's out the cockpits there. It's not the party atmosphere we saw yesterday just yet, but they'll be making plenty of noise if Alvaro Aznar can transfer that P1 into a race win. A few high fives between drivers there as well. And again, you just see that they're just going to make a relax. Alvaro Aznar, then, no shoes.
Look at that. See, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Some drivers bringing their own boots. Other people aren't even wearing boots, you know. And it's as simple as coming down to personal preference. One of the things I will say, which is interesting about no shoes, the pedal box in these sims is a real racing pedal box.
Yes.
And the force you have to press them is not like a road car. And the braking tech as well is very different. In a road car, it's progressive until you slow down. In a race car, it's a massive damp and a bleed off.
Yeah.
I'm doing it with no shoes, to be honest with you. After what, 23 laps?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Well, he's done 13 laps in qualifying. He's got 23 laps to come up and do in a few moments' time. So he's got pressure on as Aznar. With no shoes, he might have his foot slip off the brake or anything. I wonder if he's got the gloves. Because if no shoes, no gloves.
No gloves.
That's no joke.
Absolutely.
So the race will be coming up in a few moments' time. Race control are going through everything to make sure we get the correct grid position. We'll also be doing our favourite part of the show, Rush Hour. Fabio will be joining us once again, and we all know that you love Rush Hour apart from race and knockout session. It's the favourite part of the programme. Coming up here today, if you want to qualify for the Challenger League for the next race at the Zurich Airport Circuit, the qualification window opens on the 17th of July. As they look, the graphic just comes up as I say it. 17th of July to the 26th of July. If you want to qualify for race 5 at Zurich Airport, come over to one of our 5 in lounges. We've got 3 in Switzerland, 1 in Madrid and 1 in Munich, and get yourself involved. You want to keep up to date with race results, penalty points, just anything Racing Unleashed, please go over to our social media on Instagram, Twitter, to make sure that you keep up to date the latest information then. And there you see the whole qualification period, the light blue, 17th of July till the 26th, if you want to be involved at the Zurich Airport Circuit at the end of July. And have you seen the Zurich Airport Circuit?
Well, I was about to say, what's very cool about this series is these guys are an exclusive proprietary circuit. Yeah. And obviously sim racing allows itself to create environments that would otherwise be possible. And it's a long circuit, right?
Long circuit, bumpy
really,
as well.
Bumpy, long. But what's brilliant about it is it is mapped off the Zurich surroundings and Zurich Airport, which is where one of the racing lodges is based, and it's effectively their home race.
Their home race, their Monaco of the calendar as well. Yeah. What do we call it? It's not a street circuit. It's a bit more like Silverstone because it's on an airfield. But the bumpiness of it as well, the barriers, no grass, no gravel, a bit like a Monaco feel.
Yes.
To the as well, and like you say, home circuit there again in Madrid. And Marcus Valverde come to cheer on the drivers today as he's race winner from yesterday, pulled himself back in the championship. And everybody, it's nice and relaxed there. Look, a few more people started to film. I believe Augustin Torlacci from yesterday's just up as well. So it's just a very nice, chilled environment. We have got a confirmed 1, 2 and 3. So Alvaro Asnar is positioned for this race. P2 will be Angelo Michel and P3 will be Sinan de Merbas. That one is confirmed. We'll bring you the rest of the confirmed results later on in the programme. We will with Alvaro Asnar, but he's just had to step away for a few moments to relieve himself. So we hopefully will speak with our pollster then, just before our rush hour programme. And a lot more chilled in Madrid today than yesterday. It was very loud and noisy.
It was, yeah. I mean, honestly, from a driver's point of view, they probably prefer it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a little bit like the difference between when you see players at Wimbledon and players anywhere else. In the background is a full-on party. From a focus point of view, obviously for spectators, it's great. One of the things to share is get yourself down to some racing lounges because the atmosphere is cool, but there's food and drink and cool cars and great people, but the drivers, they're there for one thing.
Yeah, the drivers.
So for them, they're probably thinking, thank God for that. No one's blaring any music in my face or anything like this. So.
We've got the Test cricket, the Ashes, going on in England at the moment. And the same atmosphere.
Right.
The crowd are all partying, drinking. Yeah. They're on the field trying to concentrate on what they need to. It's the same feeling in these lounges. The drivers focus.
Yes.
And everybody around, cheers. Nice drink. Yeah. And a nice bit of it. There is, though, the Formula BMW with a few of our drivers sat around it, taking a look at the beautiful car that Ciro Zambra got to drive. Maybe thinking one day I could be in the car having a little go. And what discussions do you think, James, you was there yesterday, what discussions do drivers have with each other? Do they analyse their knockout session with each other? Do they talk to each other about what they can do in the race? Or is it just more chill, just a normal conversation? It's
been a mixture of things. I've been privy to just what were you up to at the weekend? And then I've been privy to turn 8. What's your entry point, you know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. There is actually a culture of, well, I presume sharing tips. They could be saying, take this line and it's the wrong line. I don't know. But there is definitely still a discussion amongst drivers about technique, so which is probably unheard of in most sports for competitors to even share tips.
Indeed it is. Coming up then in just a few moments' time, it's the favourite part of Rush Hour. And we are joined by our favourite kind of colleague here at Racing Unleashed. Fabio, welcome.
Thank you very much. Hello, chaps.
How you doing? I'm getting an early prediction from you today. Who's going to win the race? Because we haven't said it for the last 2 times.
Asnar.
Yeah. You, the viewers at home, heard it here first. Alvaro Asnar is going to win this race from Fabio Vettiga. Then, Fabio, how are you today? What do you think to knockout?
I'm very good. It was actually very exciting to listen to you guys. You made it, right? So maybe you can join more often.
Well, yeah, I'm up for it, man. It's good fun. It's really, really good.
Crofty and Martin Brundle for the Formula 1. They better watch out.
Me
and James are coming.
There you go.
Me and James are coming. It was a good knockout session, though. Incident list compared to yesterday?
A lot less compared to yesterday. I think one of the major factors in this knockout session was actually David Ladomada, because he held up the field. So basically all of the guys were stuck. And that helped Smeedel, Sanchez, and the top drivers there to really get some places in the end, because otherwise, once they were gone, as you said so, rightly so, towards the end of the knockout, Asnar, Mirbaz, all of those guys, they just flew away in the end, right?
I have to mention Alejandro Sanchez, championship leader. He pulled off a spectacular move into Villeneuve, 2 cars into one corner, one of them being Smeedel as well. He's just really on it this season, isn't he? Everything just looks absolutely inch perfect from him.
He's on it, but it was actually a very close call there. So I'm very eager to know what race control is going to decide there, and especially what happened after, because Smeedel was involved in some sort of a mishap, So I'm sure we're going to see that.
I'm sure we will see that. We'll be able to take a look at a few replays in a few moments' time. But It's been a fantastic session. As me and James touched on it earlier in the program, the Racer League boys seem to really be getting to grips with these penalty points. And we are seeing better driving, cleaner driving, and great racing.
I mean, that's what we for introducing the penalty points, right? So, we calm the drivers down, and I think at the beginning of the season it didn't really work out.
Yeah.
Now as the season progresses and we've seen some bans, some knockout bans, I believe it really, lives in minds.
Starting to hit home.
Exactly, yeah. So they're a bit more cautious, but they race fairly and closely.
What's the main differences, would you say, in feel between previous season's car and this car? We were having a chat earlier about Schmiedl, obviously absolutely nailing it last year. Still in a good place this year, not as dominant. It's our speculation that it might be due to car changes. What are those changes?
I mean, the car definitely has more speed. Last year we were around 300, now we're around 330 or something. With push to pass, it's 15 Ks more. It's a bit more understeery, I would say. Maybe that's not really good for his driving style, but he's a guy that can really, customize basically to every single car that he's driving. I believe, and I've talked to guys in Munich as well, that maybe this year it just didn't go according to plan in the races for him in the knockout. So he was involved in some incidents that kept him away. Yeah, kept him away from the.
Indeed. So do we think as well, though, the drivers, like James asked me, the step up in Ciro Zambra, David Teed, and Alejandro stepping up his own game, do we think that is another factor into why we're not seeing Still as dominant?
It could be so many things, right? Obviously, yeah, if one competitor is like kicking out at the moment and everything goes according to plan, just, getting through all of his components, just had no incidents, no penalty points, no bans, etc. Obviously, it could result in what we've seen so far with Sanchez having a heavy gap at the front at the moment in the championship.
Indeed. Let's take a look at the track preview for Imola today, then. So the Imola circuit here in Italy. It's a fantastic track, an iconic track, an old school sort of circuit, 4.9 kilometres in length, 12 left-handers and 9 right-handers. It's 470 metres from pole position to turn 1. It's one of the few tracks that drive counterclockwise, and it is the home for Ferrari. And James, counterclockwise means it's a bit of a different chance for the drivers going left more than right.
It is. I mean, most tracks around the world, clockwise, you exit the pits differently.
Yeah.
As you say, your general direction of turning opposite to what the rest of your season is. Guys, obviously very proficient drivers. It does have an impact on craft, particularly when you're going to make that move. You're so familiar with perhaps driving up the inside on a right-hand turn. Your proximity to cars and feeling, when you're so used to that, subtle changes can make the difference with these where we might have an off.
Indeed, we so. So you come through Torello, Villeneuve and the hairpin as we head down towards head towards the left-hander, down towards the double right-hander, and this is a trickier part of the circuit to right because this first one comes up very fast and it's slam on the brakes now as you hit hard into this one before patiently putting down the accelerator because you don't want to have spin and lose the rear end. Come uphill towards the very Alta, then towards the chicane you go in a very difficult place to overtake. We saw Thomas Herzog yesterday park car on the apex to deny the driver a way through. Rivat the final 2 corners, and where Christoph Holstein said he wanted to overtake yesterday. Will we see any there? That'll be the big question before the run. A key exit out of Rivatsa to the finish line is needed because, Fabio, it is a long shot line here, so exit out that final corner is crucial.
Yeah, it's very crucial. We've seen so many overtakes there, but it's not the only overtaking place at Imola as we've seen yesterday. So there is one up to the chicane, down to Rivazza, as we just said. So, or maybe even going up through, I don't know what the corner is called, but where Schmiedl had the incident.
We can now speak with Alvaro Asnar. Then let's just go through that. Alvaro Asnar is pole position. Angelo Michele is P2, and Sinan de Murbas is confirmed as P3. But we can speak with Alvaro now, and very congratulations on that one. That was great qualifying.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Talk us through your session a little bit there.
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Talk us through your qualifying there.
Yeah, I know that I have a very good pace here, and I was waiting for the opportunities in this qualifying, and I have a look because all drivers were very clean in all options, and yeah, I am P1 because I have it to be here, but Angelo is so fast, so I will be careful in the race with him.
Indeed, he looks a quick driver. What can you do in the race, though? Race start, obviously, from that grid position. It's not a rolling start. Can you get a good launch off the line?
I hope that, yes.
Talk us through your race strategy. What's the plan? Lead into turn one, hopefully?
I want to be on P1 in the first corner and then push all of that I know and finish the race without any problem.
Alvaro, thank you very much for speaking to us. We hope to speak to you later on in the race.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Also, just to point out there...
Guys ripped. No?
I wasn't going to say...
Oh, okay, I was thinking you were saying that because we had Iron Man show, we had other guys who were in form, but this guy's ripped as well.
The tie, either the shirt's too small or it's just...
yeah, but now I know what you want us to say. It's the green simulator. Yes.
2 wins in a row in the Challenger League. It's got pole position now in the Racer League.
Yeah.
But he's wearing his Go Faster headband. I've noticed a few headbands creeping in lately. You know?
Valverde's starting a fashion trend here.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant to see. Smeedle and Plesny had a white one on today.
They had, I see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smeedle and Plesny's got the white headband on.
Ooh.
Valverde's starting a trend.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he could sell, put some merch.
I was just going to say, he's setting himself up in brand deals.
You can help him with that. Yeah, branding is something that you can do well.
There you go. Next up.
Vamos across the front. Racing Unleashed, maybe. Get their blue heads on display.
Snubbed.
Yeah. Get that one out. We could all be wearing them on rush hour, Fabio. Me and you in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. We can set up the studio on the roof, actually. Yeah, have them happen.
It'd be nice, that.
Yeah.
Nice. It's not raining.
Yeah.
So Alvaro Aznov happy with his qualifying there, James. He seems like he's thrilled with it. And he has a plan for the race already at the start.
But again, how chilled? You know?
Yes.
Just super relaxed. There's no sort of outburst of energy just yet. Obviously, it's only quali, so he's not saying, here I am.
Yeah.
But he's in a great place. As you rightly touched on, it's all about that turn one. Yeah. Can he get the traction off the line? Will his reaction times be there? Will he turn in too early, cause an accident? Who knows? But turn one for him, we've seen he gets the clean air and he's in front. He's in with a great chance. But that turn one's going to make all the difference.
It is indeed. Can Alvaro Aznov lead into turn one? That's the biggest question. I wonder how many takes it took Noah to catch that hat.
He said one.
He did say one, actually. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah,
do you trust him?
Yeah, I trust him.
Yeah, he did that.
Skills.
100%.
Skills.
Yeah.
We have quality here, at least that's for sure. I'm going to look at a few replays now, though, when we see we're on board with Ivan Cuff here. And it's Abby up front.
First lap.
First lap, double penalty points. This is the one that you saw, James, on stream. So it's Abby. It's going to go wide here, loses the rear, slams on the brakes. Fabio, next driver's point of view at Racing Unleashed?
It's a tricky one. You know why? Because actually Kaufmann is also coming with a lot of speed. He has it's a big gap now. See, so AB is going to go to the grass there, loses the car, and now also Kaufmann is on the grass, can't really slow down, bumps into AB, and yeah, you're just a passenger, right?
You are just a passenger. AB obviously slammed the brakes when he got back up, when he caught the rear end, to stop him from going too deep. That resulted in what hopefully we'll possibly get to see in an unsafe rejoin, James, that we saw in this session. And it was just, is it that frustration of the driver? He's just been hit around, he's made his own little mistake as well, that it's, we need to get back on this track.
These guys are composed on the track. As they get off the track, massive mindset switch. So the panic to rejoin fast, quick.
Yeah.
Double up, jump.
Yeah, straight back round. This is the unsafe reach. So he gets hit from mind, and all of a sudden, I need to rejoin as quick as possible.
Bang.
And 2 cars there, Fabio.
Yeah, you can't do that. And one thing that you have to remember here is he had dirty tires.
Yeah.
So he's off track. It's slippery. He wants, as James said, he wants to go on, back on the track. Don't too many places, but unfortunately, it's not the way to go.
Not just dirty tyres, they're probably a little warm from having that bit of a slide and spinning the car around, so it's warm, dirty. Should he have rejoined a little further up the hill?
The problem is he's actually rejoining very slowly.
Yes.
Maybe it would have made sense to do a donut and then be or accelerate off track and then rejoin.
Yeah, up the hill and rejoin.
With more speed,
Because the racing line kind of goes to the right.
Yeah, it does.
And they come back across sort of middle of that straight towards the chicane. So there is a space where he could have maybe come on.
Would have been better on the top of the hill, actually.
Yeah. In the heat of it, there's so much chaos. Right at the start of the race, he had a great place. Yeah. Straight away, he's off track. Quick. Scramble, and it all goes wrong.
And it's a split second. Am I coming here? Am I coming on there? And you make your mind up like that.
Yeah.
And
that's it.
Unfortunately for him, he was on in the middle of the track.
But it's given us a cracking grid.
It's given us a cracking grid.
Yeah.
But that's a slam dunk penalty, the unsafe free. Yeah. Here is Dominic Dedic, Dave Ladamada. We didn't see this one on stream, so it's coming down towards Tamburello. Then Dedic goes the outside line.
Give some space.
Yeah, plenty of space there. It's
the thing is beside Dave.
Fully alongside there.
Fully alongside.
Alongside.
Dave can't turn in like that, so he knows the car is there. From my opinion, clearly Dave's fault. Probably also the decision race control, but Dedic earned himself the right to be there, the right to have a car's width of space.
Yeah. It was a heavy turn in.
It's side pod front wheel, isn't it? So he's more than enough alongside. It's Dominic Dedic. It's just given Dave the space into the first part of Tamburello. Big bit of space. Well,
yeah,
it just wasn't given back.
It's just it's a bit frustrating for Nick because he came back now. Obviously, with the format as it is at Racing Unleashed, he started way up front, and this track is difficult to overtake. So big points were actually on the table, big prize money, but it's all gone there.
Well, he started 5th in knockout. He ended up 18th after that. Penalties may go his way to bump him up the order a little bit. That just goes to show in this knockout session that one spin, and we touched on it earlier, especially in the Racer League, one moment, and because these guys are so fast, that's your session over.
Yeah, and definitely the thing is, we've seen, not over for Dominic. Because last evening we've seen, I think, Stanit going from P20 or 19 to P8. So it's still possible to get some points, but I would assume there's less chaos.
I'm going to hold you to what you just said. It's difficult to overtake. Alejandro Sanchez said that at Mugello and came from by the back and won the race. So we'll see at the end of this show.
Yeah, but he was lucky also.
Yeah, but we'll see how long
we'll see about that, yeah.
So we've got that's not winning the race, and you can't. It's difficult to overtake. So we'll see how we are at the end. This is Wojciech Polezi then on Kaufman. Then this is coming down into that double right-hander, and Polezi quite the way behind at the moment. Not sure where Kaufman is. Bit of a lock up and gone deep from Kaufman there. Oh,
mate, it's the car behind here, right?
That's the main thing, isn't it? It's the overtaking car's responsibility to not make the contact.
Yeah, especially because they were not really in a fight. He just had more speed coming out of the corner, and then he touches him on the rear.
Shame to see, because we touched on last time out Mugello how well Polezi had driven in not just knockout but in the race. Since his knockout ban, he really had come forward a lot more. This is Polezi's view of it. They come through the double right-hander. Kaufman locks up. He's already lost momentum.
Where should Kaufman go here, right? Yeah. He's a racing line, and Polezi just has more speed, wants to the right, touches him on the rear. It's on him.
It's the small touches as well.
Yeah. Incident 1 and this incident 3, to me, have similar traits in that both cars at the rear who are approaching what eventually ended up being the incident aren't obviously anticipating there to be some decel in speed in front of them. That one there, just a slight improvement on reaction time would have been able to miss that. The decel on incident 1, it was just too much of a decel while you're committed to that line.
I think as well the biggest thing is, you say, just that split more second on the reaction time. Is this the difference in your Alejandro Sanchez at the front of the pack and your Polezi in the middle of the pack? They would maybe had that split second to go, right, avoid, gone. Here is Loris Stretter.
Yeah, that thing you didn't see. He flew away here, right, to the right, so he's a grass, and now something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We missed on the stream.
Yeah, missed it on the stream. Yeah. He was on the stream. You were just in time, so no worries about it.
So where's this? Is this coming out the head?
Yeah, it's going up to Piratella. Let's see that.
Glad you said that.
I just remember.
This is up to the left-hander, and room given, little bit of contact. Side, I think too major in that first.
Was on deer?
Yes. Yeah. And then the second bit of contact.
Is a different league.
Yeah, the thing is,
I wonder if we can get that from from a
from
point
the
of view.
helium, yeah.
And see if we can see that coming straight down. Because James used first car understeers into Mistretta. Very small, minor contact that wouldn't have done anything.
Mm-hmm.
But the car behind has that bit more momentum. And I think, was that Seidel and Sanchez?
I don't recall. I could see that again, we know. But the thing is, car obviously uses that free space that was actually the result of that car in front hitting Mistretta, right? Yeah. So Mistretta is coming back, maybe not expecting another car there, touches the Smeedler or whoever it was, and then shunts into the gravel, basically.
Saw them yesterday, didn't we? Just the awareness of the drivers around them was just, it wasn't that it was they're lacking, but it's the lack of visibility they have to see the other cars.
Yeah, we have, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but the thing is, it's very hard to know where cars are. So as a driver, I know you can't really blame someone if you don't see the car in blind, but the thing is, you always have to expect a car to be in your blind spot, always.
Is this a subconscious psychological effect of a counterclockwise circuit?
Possibly so, maybe thinking that there would be a car on the right, and obviously with it like going the opposite way.
Good
This
point.
is the Smeed instance. This is, expect to see Sanchez. I think this is a fantastic move from Alejandro. Look, no contact at all.
He made that.
Wow.
Smeed gets a bit of touch there. Not sure who the other car is from Munich. And he goes for a gap between Smeedel and the car from Kemptol that was not there, and it took them all three of them out.
It was Dave, and who was the other car? It was a Munich as well, right?
Oh, yeah. So it's first of all, the move from Sanchez, fantastic. You wasn't watching the
Look at this.
Crazy.
Look at this.
Maybe a little
Ben Dimvix here. Don't know how he made that.
Villeneuve as well. Really overtake
Wild.
much it feels. So it's this white car we're looking here. Just comes across again.
Yeah.
It's that lack of awareness of Smeed still being on his left-hand side.
Yep. Oh, such a shame. Such a good battle there.
It was Pelesny. It was Pelesny, the white car. So, yeah, Bocek as well. So
they will have a talk and then it's gone. It's all good. I know that. They're friends, so...
Yeah.
But they're not too far away, actually, so, race still on. Could be.
Oh, race wins. It's Smeedel.
Yeah.
When do you ever doubt Smeedel and get in the race?
I never doubt him. Do you?
No.
Okay, good.
Munich need a win this season, don't they?
I mean, Angelo is P2, right? So,
well, P2, 3.
yeah. He has good speed as well.
Yeah.
No.
We'll see what happens. But there, James, again, just a lack of awareness from Pelesny, just coming across to pass Ladamada, but, Smeedel's still there.
Yeah, it's kind of... It's easy for us to sit here and go, no, whatever, but it's the kind of ABC of racecraft is be aware of your surroundings. Yeah. I think the reason that it is highlighted on track info that it is a counterclockwise circuit is because it does have an effect on things. So far, these have only raced clockwise. Yeah. Whether that's impacting things, I don't know. My opinion should still be at this league, you should be proficient regardless of which way it goes, but perhaps everyone's just settling in.
We are just being told in our ear now that Kevin Abbey then has a 4-place grid penalty. David Ladamada a 2-place grid penalty, as a 2-place grid penalty as well for Wojciech Pelesny. So penalties now started to come in from race control, and that one there, can we repeat that one in my ear? Apologies, didn't hear that one. Same Alejandro Sanchez 2-place grid penalty. Oh, championship leader.
When did that happen?
Well, that's the interesting one, because Ciro Zambra, 2-place grid penalty. They're all coming through now. They come through thick and fast.
What a shuffle.
Yeah. Ciro Zambra, Alejandro, 2-place for Alejandro.
So what place would that put Alejandro?
So at the moment, he crossed the line, P6. So it would be P8, depending on other position changes going on.
That would put him in front of Smeedel exactly, or is Smeedel now in front?
Smeedel cross the line 8th, so Smeedel will be in front of Sanchez. Good fight on. Wojciech Pelesny, Right, we've just been told, there's news this one. Did you hear that? Wojciech Pelesny, 4 and 2. So that is 8 places in total for Wojciech Pelesny. He will miss the next race. That will be locked in. Wow.
No, it's 20 points, right? 20 penalty points now. So if he needs to have a race, -3 is 17.
17.
And because he already had a cup
They're not done yet, I imagine.
Yeah, let's see what's going to happen. But if he has another 20 penalty
he needs
points,
a clean race then.
He has a weekend ban, yeah.
So if Pelesny doesn't have that clean race, he will be... right, this is Alejandro Sanchez and Ciro Zambra. I believe this is what Alejandro has the 2 penalty points for. So he pulls to the outside of Ciro, coming towards Tamburello. That's my contact there. All cleanly through the...
okay. Interesting.
Now, compare that to last night with Yannick Pletcher and Nico Farland, Fabio, where they did the same thing, didn't make contact. Nico just went a little wide himself.
Yep.
Where do we draw the line between racing incident and, misjudged craft?
The thing is,
So tight.
I think
I'm with
That
you
was
on that one.
so tight.
Yeah, it was very tight. The thing is, I think it's the end result of the car that's actually being knocked out in the end, right? The way that Zero's car is like moving to the left, it seems that there was a really hard hit, right? But Zero was just taking his line, and maybe Alejandro was a bit too fast on the exit of the track, maybe not leaving that space.
Yeah.
Can we just re-see that? Because I'd like to just see Zero's line where the car is pointing. Looks a little strange coming into the right hand. And I just want to look back at that again. Is that what has maybe put him a little wide? Yeah, contact's forced him wide, but I wonder if that's what's put a little wide. There is Zero in Nick, and I believe...
That's his reaction.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not happy at all, or he's happy there.
Well, he's got a good penalty himself, so we'll have to see what he thinks. He's got 2 places. Yannick Pletcher. Give him some tips, Yannick, on how to get the podium. That's what you need to be doing. Driver coach, I think, there. But it's great to still see the sofas out and still such a good crowd in at Kemptol. Obviously, family and friends of all the drivers and colleagues at Racing Unleashed. Holstein's tripping up David Ladomar before they've even got in there.
Yeah, see, that's tight.
Wipe your rival out before they're in there.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Injure him. So please don't. Please.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't do that. See, they're all smiling, behaving, good mates, sharing tips, all good.
Yeah. After that session, I think they're all giving each other the wrong tips.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the session for Kemptol, really. No driver within that top 5. It was all Munich and Madrid that set the qualifying screens alight in terms of where they are in their grid positions. Does that to us say that Kemptol have the control over Challenger League, but in the Racer League it is more even spread?
Yeah, it seems there are also more drivers in Munich than in the Challenger League, right? The lounge is almost full, and Madrid is always full, so that maybe helps a little. But obviously, top quality drivers in Munich here in Madrid. Kemptol, we had Dedic for 2 races. Obviously, he had this incident. It's a bit of a shame, but nevertheless, don't get Kemptol out.
Now, James, we were saying about a fan in these cockpits. You don't really feel it.
Yes.
Just want to point your attention here. 1,
look at these.
2 fans on top of the screens.
I've never been given a hand like this before.
We've got
That's cool.
the drivers now. They're feeling the heat. They've got fans on top of their screens blowing down to them.
Honestly, you need it. Once you're in there, it gets
There's actually a fan integrated in the sim.
Not that you feel.
It's pretty
back.
though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, come on, they live Spain.
In the summer months, this is needed.
Yeah,
Especially in Madrid.
definitely, and obviously there's a lot of heat coming from the simulators, and also it's summer, right? So
Kemptol's got a big fan. Yeah. All the fans have come to watch racing today, not just spectators.
He's here all week.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't go anywhere. They're all here.
It's not really state of the art, that one, compared to the sim, but well, drivers will take it.
It's brilliant to see. We've got these state of the art sims, brilliant screens and everything, and we've just chucked an absolute massive
Costco
fan on.
fan.
Yeah, just pop to the supermarket. There's your fan.
Deal with it.
Nothing high tech. Yeah, but that was rush hour for the time being. We're going into the as we get ready to go racing.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it is green and go. It's a good start from Rock already. They make contact. Absolute flying. He's a man mission at the moment. Right into the gravel. What happened up front? Oh, chaos. Can't overtake, he said. Augustin Torlach is a very happy kiss on the simulator as well.
This is Racing Unleashed.
And welcome back then, as we're on our virtual grid here in our virtual studio, about to talk to drivers who are all climbing to their cockpits as we see Kevin Aby there then get into his, ready for the race as the Imola race will be coming up. Race 4 of this Racer League. We approach the halfway mark of the season. It's a big, big day searching drivers. Our championship leader has now been given a penalty and will be demoted 2 grid places. So he's got work to do as he'll be starting behind his rival Smeedle in this one. The grid got bunched up. It all got congested as well in the knockout session. Are we expecting more in the race? We hope so. P19 though, Kevin Aby in our Zurich Lounge, the Swiss driver, has a lot of work to do to score some points from here if he's to get himself into that top 10. He's got a lot of work to do. And has had grid penalties for a lot of drivers, no more than Wojciech Plesny, who will be tumbling down the stands in this one. But the drivers now get into their seat. And this is where James was saying earlier in the show that they focus on their thing. They've lay back, close their eyes, visualise what they have to do, or they stare and are just in their zone and getting ready, getting comfortable. The gloves are still for Kevin Aby. At the moment, as he prepares to get ready, getting himself fully comfortable in his cockpit at the moment, just adjusting his headset and making sure he is able to go. P18, Dom Dedic, the Croatian driver in our Kemptol Lounge. He had work to do after we saw a little moment with David Amada, dropped him down the order. He has to come 18th place. He's got a lot of work to do from there to score some points. Looks like he's got some decent pace. Great to see Dominic back in the cockpit car after missing a few races. So he's just getting his headset on as well. He's fully focused. I believe we can speak with Dominic now. Dominic, not the knockout you wanted, but hopefully you can make some places up in the race.
Yeah, a bit frustrating. Obviously, I was here for the last 2 races, and that was a big opportunity because it's one of my favorite tracks, hard to overtake. But had this incident, frustrating, but I'll try to do my best. Hope for some insta ahead, and we'll see.
We'll see. We wish you the best of luck, Dominic. Hopefully you can make some places up.
Thank you.
Dominic, they're fully prepared. What his task is today, obviously he's missed a couple races. P17, the man who got a few grid penalties, Wojciech Plesny, he's down in 17th place. And then 16th for him from Zurich as well. Before we head to Madrid. P15, David Seed in the cockpit of the car. Mr. Smiles himself he's got a lot of work to do, a few places to gain, and he's all of a sudden in the points after a few promotions in the knockout session. He will be joined just in front of him by his Spanish compatriot of Enrique Maron, also in Madrid, as he looks to get going as well. And then we line up in P13 in a few moments' time. So we're just hopefully going to get the pictures back for you then, as it's Enrique Maron going from P14 at the moment. And it is a lovely shot of Zurich Airport then. And there is Enrique Maron once again in P14 he has to go from. You've got Christoph Holstein just next to him there in 13th place. What can he do in this position? Obviously, he was with us in Rio yesterday, and it's going to be interesting to see what he can do from there. But Enrique Maron has got to go. And we're lining up on the grid there, and it is going to be a go for this race momentarily, where the drivers are getting ready and getting full focus with the job at hand. And it's going to be Alvaro Aznar who will lead the pack away in this race. What can he do? He says he hopes to lead in turn 1. It's going to be a big, big task for him. Alejandro Sanchez coming back 8th place. He's got a massive job at his hand as well. He's obviously had 2-place grid penalty, demoting him. He's got Smeedle right in front of him. So a big job for him to get this one done. But he made some fantastic moves in the knockout session. We await the green lights. We await the red lights to come. At the historic circuit of Imola, an old school track, bringing us some of the best racing we've seen. Smeedle got from 9th, so did Smeedle get himself a penalty as well in there? Was informed on that one. Smeedle going from 9th, must have had a 1-place penalty, but it's Aznar who will them away from Angel Mikel, from Sinan Urbas. The top 3, or as they was confirmed, 4th place is not Florian Hotter. That is a grid course in 4th at the moment. So then Alvaro Aznar is going to be the man on pole position here, and he's getting himself ready as the lights come on now. And for the 4th race of the season, being held for all time. It's greening, and Alvaro gets off on pretty well. He come across to close the door, though. They all head downwards. Tamburello tries to squeeze the driver to the left of him, Angelo Michele, and they're side by side. It's Tamburello, and Angelo Michele takes the lead later on. It's a great move from him through there. Here's Smeedle, who's already in 8th place as well, as is Sanchez. He's gone from 8th to 6th. A wiggle on the ground. Sanchez tumbles down the standings, and still now making moves into Villeneuve. This could put him up into 6th place. Absolutely flying at the moment, and Sanchez looks back at Smeedle. Just here, he's now been tapped around as Sanchez. All disaster for the championship leader, early parts of this race.
And that's exactly the question we ourselves earlier. Asnar, can he make the shot? Can he get turn 1? Struggled right at the last minute and has dropped down to 2nd place.
He has down to 2nd place. It's a disaster for championship leader who's down in 9th place. So he has got to overtake to do from there, but he did in knockout. He come through the pack race today. Have Loro sitting 4 at the moment behind Sinan de Murbas. He's got Florian Haas right on the back of him. And Munich, absolutely flying. 1, 3, 5 and 6 for the Munich drivers at the moment. Mark Gasner as well. He's up in P7. Holstein's gone 14th to 8th. Ciro Zebra sitting in P9. David Seed just getting into top 10 ahead of David Marder. And as the foot now just start to get a little spaced out between each driver, it's as we kind of saw qualifying, nobody within a set of each other.
This is when things start getting interesting because we've got top tier drivers now finding themselves some clean air. More in the race we've got to pass. So there are some longer straights on the Imola circuit. It'll definitely be playing to people's strategies very soon, but it's early on. We've seen what happened in quali. Let's see what happens over the next laps.
Indeed, Dominic Dedic has gone from 18th on the grid. He's up to P12, and for Alejandro Sanchez, he's got to make work here. He's got to make moves to get done, and this could prove for you very, very wrong here in saying that it's hard to overtake. Alejandro Sanchez could be done on the mission to make moves, and Smeedle P6 on the back of Horsa at the moment, 3/10 of a sec. There's also just a wheel on the grass just to get it going, and Smeedle aware of that. That's the difference from the race knockout there. Smeedle just patient as he saw cost was slowing.
Well, you touched on exactly that trait of Smeedle. The patience is the long game for Smeedle. He's very clever with his tactics. He's not rushed. Because he doesn't rush, he doesn't make any mistakes as perhaps some others.
Indeed, he's Loris Mr. was wide coming through right-handers has come down toward Ravazza now. Sanchez is up to 8th place. Kaufman was wide on the exit chicane, and all this side at Ravazza. Alejandro Sanchez, P17, can't overtake. Fabio says, well, Sanchez proving wrong at the moment so far. Coming from the back of the pack, he's using his push to pass. You see that the red light on the numbers indicates when they are using push to pass. Smeedle only got 3 activations left. A few drivers still with 8. Smeedle ahead of Loro. He's now up into P4.
Look at this. I mean, really working his way through the pack. This is the racecraft we were talking about. Incredible performance last season. Even still, trying to get to grips with this car. You can see his natural talent. He's starting to work his way up grid. And go to Mikel, place 1. Look what happened. You get these top tier drivers in some clean air. They run their own.
They're running their own race. 1.3 second of Asnar at the moment, who said that Mikel had good pace in the interview we did with him earlier. He just doesn't have an answer for Mikel at the moment. Small now on the back of the other Munich driver, Sinan de Murbas, promoted from Challenger League to Race League. So it's great to see him running currently close to the front. Florian Hall here, 6th on the back of Loro P5. He gets past Loro here. They'll have 4 Munich drivers inside the top 5. Munich haven't won a race season, but it's looking good for their racing at the moment, James.
Very much so. Just back Smeedle again. He is right on the tail for P3. I would say, given another lap, might see.
He's through.
There he is. Yep. God, he made it in that segment. Wow.
He's through.
That is quite thick.
He's used a push pass to Murbas.
2 left,
2 usages left.
Yep.
De Murbas didn't fight him hard, and Smith now up into 3rd. He's come 9th on the grid. Florian Haas now. He's got Loro just up front with Mark Ganner behind him. And the leading Kemptol driver actually in this race is Zambra down in 8th at the moment. Kemptol not have it their way in terms of a racing lounge, and each lounge is like a family, and they all want to be the other lounge as well.
Right. What's happening here to Sanchez? Early on we were saying he was having his own season so far. He's back down in 15th place. Yep. He's clearly caught up in something. The problem as well with having such a great driver on our back, he's getting caught up in all this at the air, and the battle's going on for 11th, etc.
Indeed, Ciro Zambra and Polesny's just got past Lesnar, who's dropped down a couple places. So Zambra and Polesny up to 6th and 8th. For Alejandro Sanchez then, as we just go to Enrique Marin on the outside chicane on Kevin Abbey. Can't get the move done, and tucks back in behind. For Sanchez though, he's up to that 15th place spot, so he's making since dropping down to the back of the pack, and he's right on the back of David Seed, 3/10 of a second behind David Seed, who is right behind this battle. Enrique Marin on a look at on the bottom of your screen, a 1:15.6. Smeed fastest lap of the race. He is charging.
We do have to bear in mind, however, he has used a lot of his push to pass allocation. There's still a lot of push in reserve in the middle of the pack, and that could lead to still a short of the grid.
It could indeed be there, looking on Sebastian Hirsch for 12th and 11th place, just in front of Enrique Marin. Here is Alejandro Sanchez. He's in this train, and he still looks as determined as getting close to the back of David Seed, who's in Madrid as well. David Seed from the Challenger League, he's looking to score some points this season, and Sanchez, just see him being a bit patient. Do you think the start Sanchez, he was just a little too flustered in the...
You know, when you have this pressure, it hasn't felt so hard this season. It's gone his way so far. As soon as you get out of your comfort zone and in the unknown of, let's face it, not winning, all of a sudden you start questioning yourself. Is it the car? Is it the track? Circumstances? Let's see, but whatever it is, he's not where he's used to being.
He's not where he's used to being, and it's like being comfortable in the cockpit. Just some things you start losing length here and there. You start making the little mistakes. We're on board Enrique Marin as Sanchez got past David Seed. David Seed is tumbling down the standings here. So he made a mistake. Was there contact with Sanchez? Not too sure. Hirsch's past David Lamada then. Hirsch now gets himself to the top 10 in points. There is David, but still a long train of cars. And like in the knockout session, Sanchez finds himself in this queue, and he's just waiting to get past.
Yeah, one of the things which I think is valuable learning for everyone here, taking it through from the knockout qualifying, is they've seen the pinch point on the track, they've seen area things can go wrong, they're all learning from that, and there is currently a little bit more between these cars now.
A bit more space, well, but Sanchez to put the drivers in front under a little bit of pressure so that they do make them mistakes and give him the opportunity to get through. Kevin Aby then on the David Lattimore coming up the hill. As wide up and focused on the screens in front of him. He has a little look up the inside there, but I think Lattimor's pace through the corner caught him off, but he's now got Marin on in the back of him, and they be careful because Sanchez is right. Smeedle out front, 4/10 off back of Asnor. Asnor has got 6 usages of push to pass left compared to Smeedle 2. A lot of drivers still with a lot of laps push to pass. It's only Smeedle and Fisher are down with laps. Manon was wide on the exit to Kane though, and Sanchez will not want a second station to get through. That is P13, and I believe he's actually also on the landings. They got past Kevin A as well. So it wasn't Marin on, apologies, Kevin Aby was wide.
So Sanchez right now, obviously.
Smeedle used all his push to pass. He's used 2 usages in one go, but he's promoted now to second place. He's now got to go the rest of the race. And this is now his skill.
That's right. So this is driver craft that we've seen in the knockout. There's no push to pass. It's just poor driver engagement. Let's see if he can hold on to that. Do you think he can get up to first? Has Mugello even used any?
He's used usages. That's 6 laps there, we believe. Yep, 6 laps for Mugello still to use. Smeedle here has used all of his allotted push to pass. This is Marin back in the back of Lattimore. Sanchez patiently waiting. That happening on the left-hand side screen. On the right-hand side, Javier Oro is getting close to the Sinan de Merbas. This is for 4th and 5th place. And look at that. Who is that? I think Marinon was a little wide. That has put Sanchez maybe through, and Loris Brett is now getting to this train. So David Lattimore at the moment is kind of the blockage in the road.
Yeah, I mean, Sanchez as well, using his pace, seems he's got it. We're early in this race, 8 laps. He still has plenty of time to take his time and pick out those opportunities, which in this pack will open up.
All of a sudden, 2 places from a point here is Alejandro Sanchez, but he needs to get past David Lattimore and then work his way to Mark Gallagher, who's dropped down to Peter Hirsch. Uses his push to. Here comes Alejandro Sanchez then.
Is he going to do
round the outside? Tamburello.
Oh,
that's very, very close. But Sanchez is putting on a masterclass of overtaking. Can't overtake Imola. Right, 3.9 seconds to Mark Gasner. 3 usages of push pass left. One thing to note here, James, is Smeedle with no to pass is 1 second ahead of Asnor. So his pure pace and skill is really him to the front.
You know, maybe it's taken him a couple of races to get used to the car. He may also as well thrive on higher speed, higher downforce circuits such as this. Maybe it's his overall strategy in the race is getting his time. Over the season, it just takes time.
As if learning to adapt to it. Well, he's got 2 push to pass, 2 seconds behind Angelo Kel. So does he have the pace to keep up? We'll wait and see, but Marinon is now in this, still being led by David Lattimore. Had a quick look over his shoulder there. Was that to one of the cockpits? Oh, I'm sure you're fully focused on the things. He has a bit of a wiggle coming into Ravazza, and David Lattimore is he's really starting to train behind him here. Just doesn't seem to pace at the moment compared to the other competitors. Looking from Lattimore though. Mistret having an attack, push to pass. You see full effect there, and gets past Marinon. He even had a cheek look on David.
Fast favourite, Asnar, not in the running right now, sir. It's interesting, his earlier was fantastic, and he still has push to pass in reserve, right?
Yeah, 5 usage left, sorry.
Maybe if he's able to get this in reserve toward the latter part of this race, he could quite easily get back into second.
He'd keep himself Smeedle though.
That's a tricky task
to be that pushed full effect. So we're watching Marin, who's now behind Mistret. Here's Javier Loro, who's just got past Sinan de Merbas on timing screens, but de Merbas coming back at him on the outside. This is from Zambra's point of view. We'd love to sneak up the side and gain a couple of aces. P6 at the moment for Zambra.
And this can often happen. There's 2 cars in front battling it out. They're only calling themselves, and then you might get this car just find sneaky opportunity.
We saw yesterday Yannick Plet, 2 cars in front of him, and went straight through. The cars in front though, they've pushed to pass because they pulled away from him there. And on now on the back of Lattimore. What happened to the rest of the team though? Because that's just dropped off the of these 2 here. And Marinon uses push to pass. He's got that bit more top speed coming down to Tambaro to the outside. We saw Sanchez get past. Marinon fancies the same manoeuvre. Great overtake there. And Christoph Holstein, a man on him at the moment. 1:15.329, fastest up of the race. He currently sits. Oh, he's down in P18. Must have had a mistake. We jinxed him the other day, I reckon. So we apologise to Stoff. But he's a very, very fast driver. And he'll try and make some place up and down. Can't overtake around here was what we said, shall we, James?
Well, so
we've had some brilliant overtakes around this skit. Some brilliant overtakes. Alejandro Sanchez put in on a masterclass today, isn't he?
Incredible.
Fantastic move.
Yeah, his craft, and he's really in his craft is excellent.
It's brilliant. Next, it's one of the best in this challenge. Right, Smeedle, his gap up to 1.8 ahead of Alvaro Asnar, who just used a push to pass evasion. Smeedle last time around 3 quicker than Angelo Michele. So he's gained some time now over. But Angelo 6 usages of push to pass in reserve.
This is the Smeedle we know.
Yes,
isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
All of it in one. Patience, great overtaking, and very opportunistic he needs to be. Holstein up to 7th now on the back of Streatham. Streatham uses a push to pass. Will Holstein use a little later down the straights? It's very long here. He doesn't choose to go far as they come across the line. Here is Smeedle. Probably wiping the sweat away from under his nose as it's dripping down the face.
And if you look at the gap between those top 3, they're having their own up there, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Asnar 4 seconds ahead of Loro. And like you said in knockout, you know, we're in the clear air. They're showing what they do. With Sanchez, 2 points to Gazner. Sanchez trying to close the gap. This is Santa Merbas, though. Florian also right behind him, and he's got Wojciech Pelé behind him as well. So 3 Munich drivers all trying to chase down Javier Loro from Madrid. A good day for Munich, in general. A lot of the guys in the points at the moment.
Absolutely. It's actually an interesting observation. We were hearing earlier, there is just more drive down there, and so there is an opportunity coming out of Munich to find more talent. We're seeing it right here on screen.
We are indeed. They've had a race with Challenger League, Race League this season. Well, they're making moves on each other because the Horser gets to Merbas. One push to pass it to his advantage, but either way, the drivers giving him plenty of respect and room. They'll to see the pink wing mirrors and helmets and the stripes on the rear to say, right, don't fight him too hard. He's one of my mates. Through Villeneuve, down to a hairpin, lap 12 of 23, 11 laps still in this to go, and it's only Hirsch and Smeedle who used all push to pass. And Smeedle's gap for Asnar now is 2.4. He's closing the gap quick to Angelo Michele, but he's pulling away from Asnar.
He is. Asnar has push to pass in reserve, but he's got to up to him to pass him in first. So let's see how he gets. I'm really interested to see if Smeedle can close the gap with position 1. I know he doesn't have any pass in reserve. Michele does, but I want to see that battle take place.
Indeed we do. Well, there is Angelo Michele. Just behind him, Nico Forlan. These two really help each other in the Munich lounge. Driver coach each other and give each other tips on what to do. Michele at the moment, well, he's got some great tips from his rivals around because he is flying at the moment. Actually did a personal best lap last time around, Angelo Michele. And he's still 1.5 seconds ahead of Smeedle. One thing I did notice was Ciro Zambra was right on the back then of Javier Loro. There's Smeedle's view look. You can see Mick in front. And we'll be able to start to see that getting bigger. As Pelesny gets past in Merbas. De Merbas here has had a whole couple of laps and he's dropped behind Ciro Zambra, he's dropped behind Florian Horser, now he's dropped behind Pelesny. So is this like Yannick Pletch yesterday where towards the end of the race he's just starting to make a few mistakes?
Yeah, I think sometimes the pressure build, there's definitely a psychological thing where you start to feel like all of a sudden you're not it, you know? And that to separate the Schmullers maybe from the pack in they play this game, they play the strategy, whereas other drives we've seen, they almost go, oh, I'm not in it now, so I'm just going to drive 9/10.
Yeah. Here is Asnar, who has really lost out to the 2 leaders. He's over 5 seconds off back of Angelo Michele now, so he's really lost out to the 2 in front. But he still keep that pressure on because one mistake creeps into his game. He'll have Javier Loro off the back of him.
Absolutely.
Alejandro Sanchez has got himself in 6/10 of a second of Mark Gazner in front. This is David Sian in 15th place with Kaufman and Ladamada just in front then. And we're seeing Ciro Zambra and De Merbas come up at 2 inside in front into Ravazza. He's going to look to cut underneath for the final corner. No, he's not. Go to Alejandro Sanchez. Just touching on that seed compared to De Merbas and Ciro Zambra, making that jump from Challenger League to Racer League. He's not having it. He's win to his name as he goes actually. Skin off David Seed.
There he goes.
Gets past David Ladamada. Easy as like P4. He's just struggling in this race a little.
Here's a bit. It's great to see him taking time. The difference between Challenger and Race is quite a big step, particularly the talent of the front runners. These guys who are making that graduation learn a lot.
They can learn a lot and improve their skill. They go through this season towards the... We saw Seed took the win at Silverstone, though, first of the season. Thanks to the reverse knockout qualifying, he managed to hold a pole position and win the race. But championship leader, he found a few championship points. He's got to get past Mark Gazner just in front of him, and he's right on the back. There you have... Gazner's got 2 usages to his name. And Sanchez has, in fact, Gazna may have 7 to his name. So Gaz not really used a lot of push to pass at this moment in time. And Sanchez, he used one now, and you see the closing speed of the from Madrid. He pulls to the left. He's done for the stop line. Alejandro Sanchez is in the point. 7 usages of to pass left. Should he have maybe used it to defend?
Maybe. I mean, it's one of those things for him. Hindsight, he's definitely thinking, I should have done.
Yeah.
You know, although he still has quite a lot of time left on track, he might read it at an opportune moment next lap.
This is the difference compared to knockout qualifying. They've got the strategy of when to use push to pass.
Yes.
Do I use solely on multiple laps? What laps do I use them on? It's a whole different game compared to just driving the...
Yes. I mean, looking at Cheadle, his natural pace now, he's used all of his push to pass. We could argue that if he'd have said it, it looks like he's made up time, and now he'd be able to gain on Mikel. He had it in reserve.
Indeed so. This is Holstein on the back of Imola. They trip each other in the racing when we was there with our camera. Hopefully they trip up each other on track. As a little bump there from Holstein on the back of David Ladamada, who has a wiggle coming out of the chicane. Uphill they go. He's going to look to the inside of the chicane. Late on makes no, patiently waits and doesn't do it. Now, Christoph, we spoke yesterday on Rush Hour about overtaking at Ravazza. Will think of making the move. He's a little far below at the moment. Is he going to set him up for down Start Straight? He has got 2 usages of push to pass left, and he's got Loris Mestret and Kevin Aby on the back of him. If he could get past Ladamar, he can then maybe hunt on after Kaufman and David Sit. Just maybe make up a few more places. He does use push to pass now. He's alongside David Lamada. He gets in front David Ladamada as easy as you like, and push to pass we're seeing used in great effect.
Sanchez now back points. He is getting to close on push. He's going to need to use his push to pass as well. I mean, from what he was previous race, no doubt he is still disappointed with 10th round, even though he is in points. I still think he has it in him to get up.
It's that limitation for Sanchez today, isn't it? Score as many points as he possibly can in this race. Here is Sebastian Hirsch. He's got no push pass left like Smeedle, and he's looking on de Merbas, whose pace has just fell away from him in this race. He went so well. And pace towards the end has just gone away. We're on to lap 17 now. Mikel, 1.6 second gap over Smeedle. Used to push to pass on the last lap. As are over 3 seconds behind still. That is your top 3. Holstein then, now the back of Kaufman's been released from Lamada and is now charging forward. We go. We've seen plenty of great overtake in this race. Holstein, Ravazza down to what's his 17th. He can see just in the distance, but he's got it past Kaufman first. Back toward front, Florian Horst on the back of Pierre Loro. Great day for Munich at the moment. Great day indeed for Munich as Horst looking to come uphill. Has a look up the inside. He's not going to get it done. He's too far back. Just ran a little wider than he'd have wanted there on the exit. Yeah, he did. Make use full advantage. Don't use it there. You'll be on grass. Kaufman defending once again from Holstein. And with see gaps appear on the track, but there is still Oz having their little battles and their own little fights.
Got it off.
That's a car down in the background. David Ladamar, who's gone round.
Looks like he's caught what else.
No. Deddy's got past him, so shame for David then. Kevin has used all of his to pass now. Schmull 2/10 quicker than Kel. Last time around, but he's run out of laps. They're on lap 18 of 23. And there is Pelez with the Marcus Valverde headband trend that's going on throughout our race lounges. P7 holding on the back of Cuff the front. He's had a look at Ravazza. Does he think of making a move? No. Took them notes today and decided that Ravazza is not the place to get the job done. He's got Mistretta. There's a good fight between these three, and all these three are in the Kemp Toll Lounge, so they're having a good little battle here.
This is a really close pack. Let's see who's going to be the last of the breakers here. The opportunity for a shuffle. Not quite.
Yeah, Hulse just got past him there, and that was Kaufman to the gravel at turn 2, and then allows Mistretta through as well. So Holstein uses his full lap of push to pass to get through. Smeed got the gap down to 1.1 seconds. So with a couple of laps left in the race, is he thinking late charge? You'll start to feel the effects of the dirty air and slipstream in front. And for Smeedle now then, can he himself within that second? Can he start to put Mikel under pressure? Mikel, strategic, uses a push pass. Down the start they come. They start lap 19 of the race. He does his personal best lap of the race.
With 4 laps left, I would be highly impressed Riedel managed to catch up with...
I agree.
Not in reserve. Mikel's got some push pass left in his tank. It's going to be a hard one for Riedel, but let's... Where he's come from. He's on the podium in second, no less.
Where he's come from, this was at the back of the pack here in the race. Alejandro Sanchez has just got Sebastian Hirsch into P9. So that's 10 places he's gained in this race so far. And crucially, he's on the back of Ante Merbas as well for 8th place. Force consent to Pellegrini if you get past to Merbas. Possibly not going to happen with flaps to go. No. But Sanchez, it's damage station, it's in the bag.
Exactly, and he's probably thinking exactly that right now. Okay, I'm in it to win it now. Let's keep the machinery between the green and bring home some points.
Yeah, no penalties. Yep. Get it to the checkered flag. Wojciech Plesny, P7 on the back of Florian Harser, then who's so trying to touch down Javier Loro. This is for 5th and 7th in this race at the moment. It's Plesny who's doing a fantastic job trying to get on the back of Florian Harser. Both drivers now in Munich Lounge. We're about to start lap 20. Mikel uses yet another lap of push to pass. And even though he's using this push to pass, he's only 900 seconds quicker than Smeedle, so it's not working to his advantage. But laps are running out for Smeedle at the moment. Sanchez coming for Vatsa to the start straight on the back of Fernando Merbas. He uses his full lap of push to pass. He pulls out. Difficult to overtake.
So much action in this race. It's been weird.
Been absolutely fantastic. This man has put on masterclass from 19th to 8th. 11 places gained in one. He's got 4.2 to catch Czech Plesny. Possibly not doable with these final couple of laps left in this one.
You know, even with more lap, Smeedle would have to see a game to make up that difference. Mikel's still got about 3 pass opportunities left, and he is over a second and a half ahead.
Mark Gasner, P7 at the moment, 5 usages of push to pass, and he's only a second and a half behind Sebastian Hirsch, who has none. Maybe it's time to start your multiple a lap to find that 1.5 seconds just at that last point away.
It's actually interesting anyone how much left in reserve at this late stage. Interesting to see he just blitzes now to get very out at putting him in the bus. Yeah, it will be interesting indeed. We've not seen this man in the race because he did the job the first corner. He's not really had to look back. He's maybe kept an eye on Smeedle chasing down, but it's been very calm from Angelo Mikel out front, very well controlled. Gaston get pressing that pretty quickly because he's exactly close to Hirsch. Got plenty left in reserve. There he goes. He's just won now.
The thing is for Gasner as well, Hirsch is only 3/10 off the back of Demerbas, so if he can constantly lose them and get on the back of Hirsch, there's probably P9 as well. There is Demerbas looking back to Hirsch, and the car behind Hirsch is Gasner. So Gasner can see these two in front, knows he's got 4 push to pass activations left. He's used 1 lap. He's got 2 laps this race left, I do, but he's got to use 2.
This is his only opportunity to get in the points.
Yes.
He needs on the button.
He's got to be on the button. Multiple uses each lap here for Mark Gasner. He's within 0.1 of a second now. He's in that striking range of Sebastian Hirsch. Hirsch to attack Sinan Tabast. Gasner within 0.6 of Sebastian Hirsch. It's under nearly a second to Sebastian Hirsch. He must be listening to his chip because he's flying. That is
who going to be over points.
Florian Harser of Czech Plesny across the chain. Gasner's in 0.6 of a second. 4 usages. You down the start straight. This is going to be a job for Harser, for Gasner.
If he's confident on his brakes, the end of this back straight, he could pull this back and just scrape a point.
It's just we're running out of laps because Ciro Ambra's within 2.8 seconds. Gasner, only 2 laps, so let's go. Here is Gasner. We're on board him now. He used a push to pass.
3 left.
Does he use another one? That's the question. He comes to start straight. You see top speed gain here. He's going to pull to the outside.
He's got it. He's up in points.
He looks to the outside. Tamburello. He gets it done before Tamburello. Well now, can he get that P9 from Sinan Tabas?
I think he pulls this up. These will be the lap of the race.
Yeah.
For me. It'd be fantastic.
I just wonder if he's got one ear Australia listening to you.
It looks as if he's forgotten. Oh, Christ. Yeah. Left.
Got 5 laps left, yeah. Best press the button now. He's on back of P9 of Sinan Tabas. Mark Gasner was on the podium at Mugello. He's in the points once again, so it's a great day for Munich. Here's EK Marinon down in 12th place. He's now back of Hirsch. He's got to use his push to pass left. Might fancy up in this race. It's all getting hit at the end.
Close. He's within. If he uses pass and the last of the late breakers, he could squeeze this.
We've got a chance now, James. At 1 lap left, 4 drive for 1 point. It's close. Game on. There is Enrique Marinon at Madrid. Smeedle out front doesn't have an answer for Angelo Mikel, but Marinon may have an answer to get into points. Oh, not if he slides through Ravazza like that. Well held from Enrique Marinon. Right, push to pass, yes.
Can he
Sinan Demerbas uses 1. Mark Gasner uses 1. Here comes Marinon. Hirsch down to P12. Marinon now can see Demerbas and he can see Gasner. Gasner still has crucial 1 usage of to pass, and Sinan Tabas is right there. And Mikel has 1. Ossa has 1. Pelez has 1. So does Kaufman and Armada. This
Gasner
is
so
anybody's game
to
point.
Demerba. He's got 1 left. There's hardly anyone on the grid with some push pass in reserve. He is 3/10 off, perhaps getting another point.
Does he use the push pass though? He's got to use it out the final corner. He's got to make sure he nails the lap and use it the final corner. It's going to be Angelo Mikel though. 1.2 seconds. He's coming down towards Ravazza now. It'll be Angelo Mikel who's going to take race win provisionally here and with second place. Big race from the top. We've barely seen him. Here is Angelo Mikel. Comes out of Ravazza now. He's going to come to the line. Nico Holland's already celebrating with him as he wins the race here at Imola. Race 4 goes the way Angelo Mikel. Where's the confetti for the young man? And crucially, Munich's first of the season. Smeed second place. Asnor 3rd. Ciro Zamp P4. Javier Loro 5th. Harser 6th. Plesny 7th. Alejandro Sanchez 8th. Sinan Demerbas, hold on for P. We're not going to see it. but he held on for P96 and just couldn't get it done at the end there. So what a shame for him in this one, but a great race, James, nonetheless.
He's kicking himself for not doing that button a little earlier.
He did.
I think he might have thought he got one lap left, that he didn't. Never mind.
It was fantastic. So great overtaking, especially for Sanchez,
awesome.
Who was P19 at one stage with Sanchez, and he came all the way back to get P8 in this race. So it's points, but we'll see. Obviously, only a provisional result at the moment. If we'll hold on to them, Sinan Urbash, I have to feel for him, even though he gets points. You've gone from 4th place all the way to 9th, just lost pace at the end. So a shame for him. And Mark Gasner round at the top 10 at the very end.
But you know, it wasn't Sanchez's day. He is into points, but you're right, for him, damage limitation. Just wanted to come home with some points.
There's the confetti all over Alejandro Mikel's hair, all over. I feel sorry for the guy who had to clean that up all weekend. But this is race.
It is.
And it doesn't always go your for Sanchez. You're going to have bad days.
Yes.
Points for Sanchez, probably nonetheless. Alejandro Mikel very, very happy. I don't think he can quite believe he's just won that race. Look at them images there.
It just shows any of these drivers, top 5, get them in some clean air and show what they're all capable of.
And you're seeing the emotion from Angelo Mikel here, who, and you've touched on today multiple times, smiles before you get in the seat. The minute you're in the seat, you focus on what you're doing, and it's just you're seeing the emotion from him.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
The race can be let go, and you know you're free to enjoy yourself. Nico Farland there. Next to him, obviously, help each other out. He's got more confetti here, so he's had to wash a load out from yesterday, and he's got more in it. But what a race. That was fantastic.
It was just awesome. I think something else to remember, these guys are racing for real money.
Yeah.
You know, so while they're in it for the pride and craft of winning and achieving, there's money on the line here.
There's money on the line here. It's points, just points and prizes for the end of the season championship. There's money on the line to be won. So massive, massive work to do. Ciro Znambra, he'd be very happy with that. Provisional qualifying had him down in 11th. He's come back for a P4, and it all thumbs up in Kemptol today. It's not quite the party atmosphere they was wanted. It's thumbs up nonetheless. Fabio, welcome back.
Thank you.
Can't overtake.
I mean, I said it was difficult, but didn't say it was impossible. But that's exactly what we wanted to achieve with Push to Pass. Right? Make it more strategical for the drivers, and obviously enable them to overtake on tracks that naturally just difficult.
And Mark Asner was leaving me and James on the other seats if we had them. But 5 laps at the end, and he must have nicked a point with his Push to Pass.
Yeah. In the beginning, I was actually thinking, why is he not using it? Maybe that was his plan. Use it at the end and then maybe get some
He was thinking that as well on the final lap.
Yeah.
Like,
I've got 5 left.
You know, sometimes you forget about it, actually. Sometimes you forget about it, because a lot of drivers, times, you're just in the zone, in the tunnel, and then suddenly, you know, guys are flying past you and they're like, oh damn, I have a Push to Pass.
So you've tested this car, you've got this car. With the Push to Pass, how clear is it on their screen to see how much they have left?
It's basically in the middle screen on the top left where you see the KPH.
Well?
Yeah, good sign. I mean, it's white, the figure 8 for Imola at the moment, so it's in their vision. So
I
maybe
think one problem we see with drivers not using push passes, they are that focused race that's going off in them. They just sometimes get to use it. He used it well though. It got himself a point. He got himself 2 points. Seidel used it very well early on, and we've seen this from Seidel this season, Fabio. He seems to use it early in the race and at the end. And today it's worked for him. He's on the podium. Not only is that Munich first win of the season, Challenge League, Racer League, it's a 1-2 for Munich.
I mean, I'm so happy for them because you were rubbing it in actually yesterday and all streams before. But
fed the fire,
you know,
and they delivered today.
Yes, I know. But as you read it, so it came a bit. It comes as no surprise that Smith's using the push to pass very early on. He's always the first to actually run out.
That's his game plan, isn't it? That seems to be his tactic every week.
Yeah, at the moment it seems.
Through. The Lucky Madrid simulator, the green sim, it's on the podium. It's not the winning tip, but it's on the podium, so it continues up a good bit of form for that green sim. So I tell you what, I'd be fighting for that for the Zurich Airport. I'm having one this week. My turn. Challenge League.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we have to say that those sims are actually, it's random, they're randomly picked, so the drivers cannot choose the sim, it's chosen by a software.
There we go.
Is there any ability for the drivers to adjust anything on these cars? I know by and large they are all equal, but are there any preferences which can be adjusted or tweaked?
No, everyone is having the same setup of the car, setup of the sim. Obviously, drivers are sometimes a bit taller than others, so you can just adjust saddle box, but that's it. Nothing.
All the cars,
Very
equal
cool.
power, equal performance. The setup is exactly the same, and this is where you see different drivers have better races because the setup of the car may not suit what they'd have liked a certain circuit.
Potentially, yeah. But also sometimes, there are tracks that just don't suit you, basically. For me, it was Mugello, for example. I wasn't on that, but on Imola, I was very quick.
Very quick indeed.
Yeah. Maybe I rather go to the left than to the right.
For the clockwise circuits.
Maybe.
Yeah, possibly so. Sanchez, not for him, but like I've just said, James, that's motor racing. You have your good days, you have your bad days. Will he take this?
Who, Sanchez?
Sanchez.
I mean, he was actually up there, right? So he was already past Smeedle, I believe, at that particular corner. Unfortunately for him, it just didn't go according to his plan. There was a bit of a tap from the back, and as you said, so in the end, just focus on the race, try to get some points, and damage limitations.
Indeed, it is. Now, them men just behind James there, they've got the tricky task of making sure this race result is correct. James, once again, like qualifying, this one's a little harder now because it's not just what's on the line, but it's the prize money on the line as well.
There's a lot of analysis. You'll note here there's multiple people to help remove opinion, very data-led, but still the outcomes here, who crosses the line is provisional, and so while we do see celebration, that's ultimately what the podium for. So we're going to find out shortly what these final results are. As a reminder, P1 is 3,000 Swiss francs, right?
Yeah.
So no joke.
3.5 to be precise.
3,500
no
francs.
joke.
Okay.
Serious lot of money. But this man, Angelo Michele, provisionally at the moment, 3.5 francs in back pocket and 25 points, I do believe, to his name.
Yeah, he actually didn't have the best start to the season. I'm super happy for him that he managed to actually win. I'm not sure if it's his first win at Racing Unleashed.
That would explain the pure emotion on his face.
Exactly, because he's been at Racing Unleashed from very get-go. So probably 4 or 5 years, and now this is the win for him. Congratulations.
That would explain
Remind me, what was Sanchez's point lead going in?
20 points.
20
Holstein,
points.
who didn't score a point, so he extends it from him, but the others, who was in fourth. David didn't get a point either, so Smeedle really closes the gap. Second to eighth. That's really closed the gap.
This race for me has all of a sudden brought this series much closer, and for the next season, it's just much more tight now.
The thing as well is we said the same thing yesterday. The fact that Torlacci and Valverde come back into it, we've all of a sudden gone from having Forland and Pletcher to having 4 cars. Sanchez hasn't had the best day. That's brought Mel and Smeedle right back into this championship fight as well. We go to the halfway race next time out at the end of July. So it's been very crucial for drivers today to now think, I need to get results.
Yeah, I will get my popcorn next round, because now it's getting really interesting. I mean, this is what we write. A close championship, a runner-off, just sailing off into the distance with the championship. This is exactly what we want.
It is indeed. And more confetti at Munich. You feel sorry for the guy who's had to clean this up. There was plenty thrown out yesterday, more thrown up today. I hope they've got all.
I was thoughtful about the servers, because I think all these little are going to go into cooling fans.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
We'll have them hoovered out. Let's, though, talk to our provisional P3 driver. We get a word with Alvaro in a few moments' time then. It is still a provisional result, but it is provisionally Angelo Michele, the race leader. The race winner with Michael Schmid P2 provisionally and Alvaro as P3 provisionally as well. We will bring you the podium 3, the top 3 classification when we get word of that in a few moments' time. There is the simulator of Alvaro as now. Alvaro, P3, was that the best you could do today?
Yeah, I think that this is all that I can do. Angelo had a very good pace today, and we know that Michael's middle is so fast every day, so P3 is a good result for me.
It's a good result for yourself, though. It's a podium and it's good points on the championship standing.
Yeah, I had to recover a lot of points because I had very bad races in the past, so P3 is, I'm fine with this result, yes.
Talk us through the race start, because we saw that you got a very equal start with Angelo Michele. He just outbraked you into turn 1. Talk us through it from your point of view.
Yeah, I don't know why in this track. The first position is on the right. I can defend the end of the corner, so I didn't want any problem with Angelo, and I know that he has most pace than me. And okay, if you are not in the first corner, you will be first in the second. So I want to be clean with him, and it's I think that is fair, the third position for me.
We go to the Zurich Airport circuit next time out. What can you do around the Zurich circuit?
I didn't race in that track, so I don't know who is the track. I have to learn the track and practice only 2 days for that race, so we'll see.
Well, we wish you the best of luck next time out at Zurich. Congratulations at the moment, Alvaro.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Next race Zurich, when we spoke about the seat time that drivers get, they've got a month. Race League is confirmed. 20 drivers, so you don't have to qualify for the race league. So he's got some seat time in this next month.
Time, track knowledge is everything. All of these guys can drive, but the nuances of knowing a track are night and day between car placement, being able to push those last tenths in knockout of these things. It's concerning he's not driven there, if I'm honest with you.
Is it even harder for a driver? The track is not a real track.
No.
You know, we all know Imola. We all know some of the famous circuits across the world that's running Formula One and other competitions. Zurich isn't. So for Alvaro, he's got no knowledge of this circuit.
Yeah, it is hard, but Alvaro is an experienced sim racer, so he will be up to speed quite quickly. The thing with him is that he's actually living in Barcelona, not in Madrid.
Oh.
So, and all the guys are actually practicing. He is sitting home, maybe looking at some videos, right? And then I guess he's traveling to Madrid around Thursday and has a couple of laps on the track, and then he's back to challenge. So
wow. So his approach to this is watching onboards, right?
Yeah.
From previous races.
That's what I did all my life. Basically, just watch those onboards, and you learn a lot in it. But thing is, how can he watch onboards with the new car, because we haven't raced on it?
Yeah. He can only learn the track from what we've seen previously.
Yeah,
like learning circuit layout is one thing. How the car feels into that corner.
Yep.
You know, it's behavior points, braking zones, etc. How it feels under load through various different chicanes will be a challenge that he's going to have to learn in a very small amount of time.
Yep.
I think the other thing as well he took on was he just didn't have the pace of the front two, and he knew Mugello was quicker, didn't want to get involved in an incident, and one was happy to sort of just let him go.
I mean, P3 is still a very good result.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was banging on him, so it's maybe one for you now.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, he managed to do a flawless race, I would say, stayed out of trouble. Didn't really see the overtake on Smeedel there, but still. It's P3. It's good points in the championship because he had some hard races recently.
He has indeed, and it's good points in the championship for a very, very fast driver as well. He is provisionally P3. Still no confirmation through at the moment, and we will get to speak with P1 and 2 shortly as well. But as we go to Zurich circuit, Fabio, a lot of drivers that have been at Racing Lease for a while now will know this track. What do we think the difficulties are going to be of it?
It's just a new track, as you said. The track is not there in real life, but maybe we can ask a question today.
Yeah, we can ask a question to the current Racer League champion, Michael Smeedel, P2 today. Very well done.
Thank you very much.
Pleased with your race?
Well, no need to get emotional. We all know that these results are artificially created by format, so yeah, it was okay.
Just talk us through it, because you made some good overtakes on drive today, and you really had to get past a few cars to get onto second place.
Yeah, I just did my work and that was it.
We've just been on about the Zurich circuit. Give us a little bit of thoughts onto whether you like the track. Are you a fan of the Zurich circuit for next time out?
Yeah, it is a good race.
Well, we will get to it, Michael. Best of luck next time out, and well done, a provisional P2 today.
Full of enthusiasm for that event, then.
A man of very few words.
Clearly not happy with how it went, despite the fact that I think he put in a fantastic drive. Touring P2 is great. Not happy though, is he?
He's jumping out the cockpit to P2.
Doing well.
It's Michael Smeedel. He always wants to win, obviously. But not too sure whether his reaction would have been different if he would have had that win. But yeah, he's a man of not many words, but yeah.
Kind of like a Kimi Räikkönen, wasn't it? Straight to the point. Yes, no, thank you. See you in a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically that.
Brilliant. Well, we didn't find a lot about Zurich there. You've driven the track, driven it last year.
I like. Yeah. Home track.
Track, indeed.
It's quite a long circuit, right?
Yeah, almost 2 minutes with last year's car, but let's see how it does.
How it does this year, and here is a very emotional man. It's Angelo Kell, your provisional race winner, full of confetti, hair, the cockpit, everywhere. That's a fantastic job.
Thank you very much.
Talk us through your race, because it all happened at turn 1 for yourself there. Got the lead early on.
Fortunately, I got a first corner for me, so I was just trying to escape from Alvaro. I got a little bit worried after, I think, lap 6, where I saw that Mikael is closing in, and I was just looking that I survive until lap 15 or something like this to manage my push to pass, to get every straight, just to get a little bit exceed my range to him, so I get some comfortable space. At the end, it worked perfectly out.
What did you think when you saw Smeed up into P2? Did you think I've got to keep on it here?
Yeah, that was really the situation where, okay, you need to pick up the pace, you need to keep the times in best case mid 15. I just managed to high 15 because I was left some space to the track to get not into trouble. At the end it was enough, and I'm very, very happy about this. It was very fortunate after the very lucky race last time.
And we saw the emotions with yourself, and obviously Nico Farland was with you to congratulate you as well. Such an emotional time. Just because how you was feeling when you crossed the line.
Unbelievable. It was redemption day for me. It feels really like redemption day. I think the closest change that I had was on Zurich Airport last year, where I flew map. That was really a downer for me at this point, and now I think it gets better and better again.
Well, I hope the boys and girls at Munich have more confetti to chuck over you on the podium a little from. But congratulations for the provisional P1, Angelo. Well done.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
And a very emotional moment there when he crossed the line. But celebrating with Nico Farland, you always see either Ando's in the background when Nico Farland's racing, Nico's in the background when he's racing. And it's great to see drivers working together.
Yeah, lovely to see, especially that you see the camaraderie that's actually being created there, Racing Unleashed in the lounges. Obviously, it helps if you maybe don't race in the same series, and maybe don't come together. But in the end, it's racing. If you have a lot of respect on track, I think your friendship will survive. It's not Formula One, but who knows? Maybe we'll see something like that in the future.
Well, rivalries can be formed very quickly. Munich, first race win of the season. 2 wins for Madrid now, 1 win for Kemptthal, 1 win for Munich this season. They've broke the duck. Could they now lead to a string of good results for Munich if drivers at Munich are starting to get used to the car and starting to get to grips with it?
Yeah, maybe they're like a diesel, right? They just need some time to warm up, and then they can drive off into the distance.
And we touched on it in the race. We saw the images of Angelo. He did seem very emotional. That he said there, redemption.
Absolutely, yeah. When you see a win like that, it feels all the more rewarding, I would guess. It clearly means a lot to him. He's there supported by friends and family in the room physically with him, which is special in itself. This sort of energy as well does a huge amount of carrying that momentum into the next race. He's going to be as high as ever. No doubt he'll be committing himself to getting as much seat time as he can in front of the next race in Zurich. So hopefully, I wish him all the best, and hopefully he takes that emotion and energy into Zurich and puts it back on the podium again.
The difficult for him into Zurich now is he climbs up the championship standings. He's going to have a tougher knockout qualifying.
Yeah, but Zurich is a completely different track than Imola. You can overtake there. You can easily overtake there. Let's put it that way with push to pass, because you have very long straight. You have a very wide track. So I will just say it's going to be a bit easier. Not impossible, right?
So at Mugello, Alejandro Sanchez can't overtake. Fabio today says it's difficult to overtake. For Zurich, it's easy. We'll hold that, and we'll see in a month's time what he says. That's good in the notebook. Yeah, that's good in the notebook for next time out. We'll be obviously back at Zurich at the end of July. If you want to get involved with the Challenger League and you want to try and qualify to be one of the 20 drivers on the grid, head over to one of our live racing lounges, Munich, Madrid, or any of the 3 in Switzerland, the Zurich Airport, the Tor Lounge, or the Calm Lounge. Get yourself involved. Get qualifying as from the 7th of July till the 26th of July, and you could be one of these 20 drivers on the grid fighting it out for position. The racing drivers are obviously locked in place, and that will be for the remainder of the season. What a weekend it's been at Imola. We've seen some fantastic racing this whole weekend.
Yeah, both from Challenger and race, so we definitely mustn't forget Challenger. There's some equally great up and coming talent there. There's definitely a few bums in seats that we're going to see here soon. And it's just been great to witness it from a personal standpoint. I think I've had the best of both worlds. Yesterday we were in the Kemptthal Lounge physically watching these guys race. The camaraderie in that room is tangible, and then to be in here with yourselves has been fantastic. So
we've got a few replays that we show you now. Here is the start of the race. It's Asnar and Mikael, and we saw from a bit further back, James, that Mikael seemed to get a little better launch. You see him coming past.
Yeah.
Push to pass maybe because the drivers catch it straight off the line. And great from Asnar, great from Angelo Michel.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is demonstrating in probably peak tension, just good racecraft. There's no one trying to push anyone wide here. Yeah. It's just, okay, he was faster, he got that line. It's a long enough race to try and get it back. Let's just allow it to unfold.
One thing I noticed with Michel, very late brakes.
I was going to say I'm astounded that Michel, with cold tires, we have to say, has the belief, the grip that he can actually take that speed through turn 1 and basically overtake Asnar here.
Because let's not forget, unlike the knockout qualifying, there's no line in the safety car to get them tyres and brakes into a good temperature. So brakes cold, tyres cold. So into turn 1. I need it stick. No wiggles, no...
Yeah, can I say he might have tested that? I don't know. But it's just great move. Has a very good launch. I believe none of them actually used to push to pass in that situation because they were quite equal, or maybe they both of them have. Great overtaking, set him up for the win. Off he went.
He did, because we didn't really see much of him at the end of the race because he was just in the distance there. And that's how racing is. You get that good start, James. You get the lead into turn 1. If you've got the pace, you just sail off in distance.
We've said a few times the caliber of drivers in this series, regardless of where you are in the league, you're pretty hot. But these top 10, top 5, give them some clean air. See you later.
We've got one coming up now of Dominic Dedic and Kevin Aby then. So this is again start of the race. You just see how bunched up it all is. Dedic here earlier on the brakes, come to the corner. Few cars a little slow. 1 through 2 into 3. Oh, big moment for Aby there.
I mean, what can you do? I mean, wrong place, wrong time. But luckily, let's put it that way, nothing really major.
And as James said, cold tyres. That's the difference.
Right?
Michel, it's that one.
Interesting. Yep. That comes down to the nuanced skill difference or seat time, just inherent feel of this platform. We've had someone have an oversteer moment here, cold tyres, whereas the front runner able to make all stick through a cold corner.
Yeah, he was just very eager to get on the power, you know, and that was the result.
And that's the fine margins. The fine margins at the front of the grid and at the back of the grid.
Yeah, definitely.
So interesting to see there. And nothing really, race control probably won't look at that. He had a moment himself. Dominic Dedic, just very unfortunate to be in that position. Yeah,
it's split seconds, but there you cannot react. I mean, can you do it? He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But yeah, racing incident.
Smeedle Sanchez, I believe it's his lap 1 as well. So Smeedle's got himself ahead of Sanchez. He goes round the outside of another Munich driver. Great driving there through Whelan. Into the hairpin. Sanchez, bit of a tap. Now this is where we saw Sanchez spin and drop him down 19th. So a bit of a tap on Smeedle. Was that Sanchez carrying too much speed into the hairpin?
Let's wait and see actually for the car that's bumping in Sanchez here. I want to point out actually that Smeedle, what a reaction to actually...
Think of the same thing. Yeah. You watch him catch this. There's a very fast moment of opposite and he manages to get his car going.
Now, so we saw Sanchez just taps the back of Smeedle, but that receives not 1 but 2 taps from different drives that sends him right. That's what put him 19th. One heck of a drive to get back to 8.
I was just going to say, how did he manage to be in the points after this? Because there was a rejoin of the other car there, or basically just a turnaround. It just made him go into the grass again more time and still managed to be on P8. Was it P9?
Yeah, P8. Yeah, I believe so, P8.
Yeah. Incredible.
Fantastic. Yeah, on a track that you can't overtake on.
Yeah.
I enjoyed.
You're not going to live that one down.
Okay.
That's for the rest of the season.
Rest of the season.
We're going to get your opinions on overtaking. He said at Mugello you can't overtake and won the race. He made some great overtakes here. He has been a man today. We saw in the knockout session 3 wide with Smeedle at Villeneuve. We saw in the race he made a fantastic overtake into Tamburello around the outside, I believe, Ladamada. He made great overtakes at Mugello. So clearly a master of passing people.
Yeah, he can just stick it there, and he knows the grip, he knows where to go, he knows how to leave the space to the other guys. Also, there is a lot of trust Alejandro actually gives to the others, because he just gives him maybe just a little inch, and if they give it to him, he will be paused.
Well, that was going to be my next question to James, is the trust that Alejandro gives to everybody else is remarkable. At times, you need that trust given back to you.
I mean, it's... double-edged sword, this. You know, on the one hand, it's a testament to the complete driver standards across the grid that you have that trust.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it can be a risky strategy if someone's feeling like being a bit sneaky that day and doesn't give you that inch. Then we can see things which are perhaps more akin in the Challenger League. But I just think the generally across the board, the exemplary display of sportsmanship is strong.
It is indeed. We can now finally confirm that this is your podium. Angelo Michel is your race winner. Michael Smeedle, second place, and Alvaro Asnor in third. So that is final classification, and that is your podium. I'm sure Angelo Michel is going to feel that emotion build up once more now that it's officially confirmed.
Yeah, awesome, man. There was actually no doubt for myself that he's going to be the winner, because he had no accident. He had only one overtake, and then there wasn't a lapped car or anything in his way. So congrats to him, but first of all, congrats to Asnar, who I believe is sitting there on the right.
Yep, standing there on the right in his tight blue T-shirt, ready to receive his trophy today in the racing lounge at Madrid. Then Alvaro Asnor is going to come onto the podium to receive his trophy. A thumbs up, a round of applause, and his trophy to be given to him. No kiss of the sim in Madrid today.
I didn't give him the win, so...
Well, pole in a third place.
Yeah, not enough, not good enough.
There's a lot of things we've got to keep our eyes on this.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of things. Madrid very happy. Alvaro Asnor in third place. We get to see Michael Smeedle now step up on the podium for P2. What a day it's going to be in Munich. Smeedle will take his second place and receive his trophy there from our colleagues. Very happy man, I'm sure, to be getting that second place trophy. And we're confetti. Is it on standby as we have a bigger round of applause? And here's Angelo Michel. Oh, the applause was for Smeedle there, actually. I was cheering Michel to get on the podium. Smeedle, he's happy with that. He's got to be happy with that, surely.
Can't tell.
There's not really a smile.
Now here comes Angelo Michel. Okay. Race, there's the confetti. All over him. Fantastic to see the scenes there in Munich. The anthem for Angelo Michel as well. It's a good job there's no English drivers in this league, because that anthem's a little shorter, isn't it? But it's great to see Michel the race winner, but Smeedle still on the podium. That's...
Yeah, how tall is Smeedle?
Him and Pelesny.
How does he fit in the simulator? Actually, it's crazy.
Pelesny's a very tall man as well. We saw him on the podium as well yesterday. But if you want to, we'll go through it again. If you want to be a part of Racing Unleashed, make sure you cat our social media, Instagram and Twitter, to keep up to date with race results, final classifications, penalty points, and all other information that happens here at Racing Unleashed. If you want to get involved here at Racing Unleashed, please do come to one of our 5 racing lounges, Munich, Madrid, Kemptol, Zurich Airport or Calm, to register on the 17th of July and get yourself a chance to maybe drive in the Challenger League on a Friday evening, or even if you just fancy a bit of fun in one of our simulators, pop down and pay us. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you much for joining us on the programme. That is all we have time for. We will see you at the end of July for the halfway point of the season in Zurich. Goodbye. Can't overtake, he said. Augustin Torlacin, a very happy man on the simulator as well.
This is Racing Unleashed.